from Congress effective immediately. The president-elect has long had Gaetz' support.
He says Matt's going to end weaponized government, protect our borders, dismantle criminal organizations, and restore America's badly shattered faith and confidence in the Justice Department. The House Ethics Committee was investigating allegations Gaetz was part of a scheme tied to the sex trafficking of a minor, but now that Gaetz has stepped down, that investigation is going to stop. Should also mention that Gaetz has long denied the allegations.
Fox's Mark Merritt at the House Ethics Committee was due to meet tomorrow to vote on whether to release its report on Gaetz. It's not clear now whether that will happen. Republicans, it is now confirmed, will control the White House, Senate, and the House, retaining the majority there.
The trifecta was clinched after that race in Arizona was called for Republican incumbent Juan Ciscomani defeating Democrat challenger Kirsten Engel. It came on the heels of GOP incumbent Ken Calvert defeating Democrat challenger Will Rollins in California's 41st district. The majorities are small in both the House and the Senate, meaning Republicans have little margin for error, and we could see that tested early in some of these cabinet confirmations.
Fox's Griff Jenkins. The Beirut, Lebanon suburbs are hit by Israeli airstrikes for a third straight day, and civilians are warned buildings used by Hezbollah militants are being targeted. New weekly unemployment claims at the lowest level in 6 months, 217,000, the 4-week average at 221,000. Wholesale price inflation comes in at 2.4% annually, going by the Labor Department's monthly producer price index. That's up from 1.9%. Prices up 0.2% from September to October, up from 0.1% the month before. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It's sticking around. Cloudy with a few showers on radar. 54 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. The NFL Scouting Combine is staying here in Indianapolis. The NFL's premier event to gauge prospective college players will stay in Indy through at least 2026. It's been in the Circle City since it first started back in 1987. A man shot and killed by police in Gary late Wednesday evening. It had to do with the department's investigation into violence related to online buying and selling of items. An undercover officer posed as someone buying something on Facebook Marketplace.
During this operation, the suspect attempted to rob our undercover officer and attacked him with a machete-style weapon.
Gary Police Chief Derek Cannon, that's when he says the officer fatally shot Sherrod Richmond. Raping a woman and strangling her husband with an extension cord is what a man from Indianapolis did, say police. IMPD arrested James Taylor last week. Court documents show that Taylor is facing a multitude of charges. A jury trial has not been scheduled yet. A man from Indiana will be spending the next 85 years in prison for killing his grandmother. Harrison Silcox.
About a year ago, a warrant was issued for Anthony Castleman. He was named a suspect by the Huntington County Sheriff's Office in the death of Bernice Eubank, who happened to be Castleman's grandmother. The U.S. Marshals Service is who tracked him down all the way in southern Georgia. A jury found him guilty at the start of November, and Castleman was then given 65 years in prison with another 20 for being a habitual offender. Castleman claims he's innocent. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Gas is the cheapest it's been in Indiana since mid-January.
So we've seen energy prices and gas prices coming down steadily, really over the last 2 or 3 years, ever since sort of peak inflation.
IU economist Kyle Anderson on Wish TV. Anderson says that several factors have played into that, but one that he is certain has had no impact is Donald Trump's re-election, at least not yet. Penske Entertainment has purchased the Grand Prix of Long Beach. The iconic motor racing event was bought by Roger Penske for an undisclosed amount, adding yet another major auto race to his business empire. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer.
Crash northbound 6570 before the Washington Street exit. The left lane is closed. Traffic is jammed. Into the south, split it onto eastbound 70 back to Belmont for a delay time of 11 minutes. Looking at a crash, north side, Allisonville Road at 96. Crash south side, it's Edgewood Avenue at 5 Points Road. Traffic sponsored by Mattress Firm. It's Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Get matched with your perfect bed and save up to $700 on a wide selection of quality mattresses. See store for details. I'm Matt Baer with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Get in gear with fall sales savings at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get a brand new 2024 Navigator. Get an incredible $10,000 off plus 0% for 60 months. Or get $7,000 off select new 2024 Lincoln Aviators plus 0% for 60 months. So get some of those fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Qualified buyers with approved credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Taxes and dealer fees extra. Stock number L24412. MSRP 104200. Stock number L24208. MSRP 75300. See dealer for complete details.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard Air dealer in Indianapolis.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Cloudy with some spotty light showers through mid-afternoon. Today's high 55. We'll keep it mostly cloudy. Should be quiet and dry overnight. Lows into the mid-40s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
A few showers to the south and west on radar. 54 and cloudy on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Well, good morning. It is Thursday, November 14th. It's 6 minutes after 9. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So yesterday, Donald Trump and Joe Biden met in the White House. They both pledged a smooth transition between their administrations. Meeting lasted about 2 hours and included discussions on national security, domestic policy, and Congress's to-do list. Of course, Joe Biden raised the need for government funding.
There's no doubt Joe Biden hates Kamala Harris after seeing yesterday, right?
With that big smile on his face, relief. Just couldn't be more excited to get the hell out of there.
Well, I mean, some people were saying this, that he may have even voted for Donald Trump. I mean, it does, and we talked about this yesterday when Ethan was in, and you and I have mentioned this in the build-up since they announced this meeting. It does show to the American people, and certainly all the people who voted for Donald Trump, you absolutely made the right choice in the sense of they don't mean any of it when they called the guy a fascist or a Nazi or a Hitler or whatever. Because if you believed that he was those things, if you believed Adolf Hitler was pulling up to the White House, would you just open the doors and let him in?
Come on in.
Would you meet with him? Would you smile with him? Would you, glad hand with him? Would you photo op with him? No, of course not. They don't mean any of those things. And so the hypocrisy was on full display. And the fact that Joe Biden looked so happy to be there. I mean, I think Joe Biden is thrilled that Kamala Harris lost because he knows in his moments of clarity, as rare as those may be, few and far between these days, he knows they stole the presidency from him. He knows they stole the nomination from him. He's probably thrilled to death that she lost.
And Joe Biden has been wearing a lot of red lately. And, of course, you saw the video of all of Biden's staffers who left all their meetings to go out and watch Donald Trump returning to the White House. Like, they were even interested in what was going to happen.
Well, there's a certain thing that, like, the way the president should look, right? There's a certain way the president should carry himself. And Joe, like, whatever you want to say about Obama or Bush or whatever, they looked the part of the president of the United States. Like, they carried themselves with a gravitas that you would associate with the president of the United States. And Joe Biden just simply did not have that. It looked like, this feeble old man who is a reflection to the world of what people saw America as. And with Trump being back in there, he looks the part of president. He has the walk. He has the swagger. This guy's not screwing around. I know we'll get to some of his nominee picks here in a little bit, but it's like, okay, we're back in business in terms of our country and the way the world is going to be. I don't care at all whether the world likes us. I don't care whether the world thinks we're great. What I care about is whether the world respects and fears us, which they will with Donald Trump as president, as they did the last time he was president.
And they did that by that roaring fire. And just imagine what happened there. Trump sat across from the guy who tried to destroy his family, rifled through his wife's underwear drawer, tried to take his fortune. They tried to throw him in prison, and he acted with respect and composure, shook Joe Biden's hand, and looked very presidential.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little disappointing, isn't it? I mean,
You wanted him to have a Jake Paul, Mike Tyson sort of fight?
What I'm saying is if someone had done those things to me, I would not have behaved in the manner by which Donald Trump, has chosen to behave. But I guess good on him that he's trying to be a bigger person, and ultimately he won. And I'm sure he's there to try to get things. It's showing he's trying to get things done. So you do wonder now what the next step is, because obviously you have what seems to be cooperation between Trump and Biden. It seems like they're going to at least work together on a seamless transition. By the way, how funny is that Kamala Harris will have to certify Trump's election against her? Has that ever happened before? Well, let's see. I'm trying to think of the last time I guess Gore. Gore would have had to do it with Bush. Yeah, so that's the last time that happened. But now, obviously, there's a we're on to the next phase, right? And that is Donald Trump has chosen, and I think positively, several very controversial nominees. And so how does that next step work, given who the Republicans chose to be the leader of the Senate? And we're going to find out very quick in terms of is Thune actually what he said he was going to be, which is loyal to getting the Trump agenda enacted.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Of course, you cannot thank Todd Young for that vote.
Or Jim Banks.
Yeah, either one here. But here is Joe Biden and not acknowledging Trump as the president-elect, smiling, shaking his hand, and saying, welcome back.
President-elect and former president. Thank you. Donald, congratulations. Thank you. And looking forward to having like we said, a smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So good. Welcome. Welcome back.
Joe Biden certainly looked happier than Barack Obama did.
Well, so yesterday we played some audio from Tony Hinchcliffe about the comedian saying, I apologize for nothing. I rip on everyone. I made a comment about Puerto Ricans being a garbage country because literally they have a massive issue with their garbage, which was covered by mainstream media outlets. And he said, I'm not quoting verbatim, but he basically said, you're a political pawn. And people need to recognize when they're political pawns, and the Puerto Ricans were the political pawn of the moment. And I don't know, you watch this, and it does give credence to what I have said for a long time, which is that politics is basically a glorified dinner theater. I mean, look at all the things that Trump or Biden said about Trump. Would you be saying congratulations if Adolf Hitler were about to enter the White House, if a bunch of Nazis were about to enter the White House, if a bunch of fascists, if Mussolini was about to enter the White House, would you be saying congratulations? Would you be gripping and grinning? Would you be glad-handing? No, of course not. And so people need to wake up. People need to wake up and realize in almost all facets of politics, they're being used as pawns. Like, again, take, for example, Jim Banks had an opportunity to do what he said he was during the campaign, which is, I'm a Donald Trump guy. Okay, the Donald Trump guy ran to run the U.S. Senate. We have no idea now we know how Jim Banks voted, but you have no idea how Jim Banks voted. He will not tell you. What does that say about who that guy really is? What does that really say about what he actually thinks about Donald Trump? The answer is he's not really a Donald Trump guy.
He wanted to use Donald Trump's name to get himself elected.
The Republicans are playing dinner theater. The Democrats are playing dinner theater. And the sooner you all realize that you are nothing more than someone that the politicians can use to further their own agenda on both sides, the better off you're. I mean, all these people I've seen, I can't believe Jim Banks would do that. Why not? Why? We told you for 2 years. The guy voted for Kevin McCarthy 15 times. Why would you think that if he voted for Kevin McCarthy 15 times, he wouldn't vote for John Thune? If the guy won't debate, if the guy didn't care enough to get on a stage and debate, why would you think he's going to care enough about you to listen to you when you shut his phone lines down, when you clog up his voicemails, when you blow up his email, when he doesn't care. So my point is, it's dinner theater on the left. Biden doesn't actually think Trump's a Nazi or a fascist, and it's dinner theater on the right. Jim Banks is not actually a Donald Trump guy. These people are all in it for themselves, and they're using you to further their own agenda.
Many people were speculating that perhaps there was an agreement made between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, especially in regards to Hunter Biden.
Well, maybe. I mean, I think it's highly unlikely that Donald Trump will never pardon Hunter Biden. There's no way he would do that. I mean, his base would just go ballistic if he did that.
But Joe Biden still could at 11:59.
He certainly could, but he doesn't need Donald Trump in order to do that.
Right.
I mean, I just think that I think it's sometimes the most simplistic answer is just the right answer, which is they, being the Democrats,
stabbed him in the back.
Well, they try to ploy to get people to vote for their candidate because they had nothing to offer the American people. It didn't work. Joe Biden hates Kamala Harris, and now he's out the door, and it's senioritis, right? Okay, this guy's in. My legacy's not going to be tarnished by fighting this guy. The American people wanted this. I'm out the door. Kiss my backside. You all have a nice day. That's what happened yesterday.
So Karine Jean-Pierre was asked if Biden will apologize for calling Donald Trump a dangerous threat to our country. And, the answer was no.
In the meeting, we saw a unified front related to a transition in the Oval Office meeting. But a lot was said on the campaign trail, like Trump is a dangerous threat to our country and our democracy. Was there an apology today?
I'm sorry?
Was there an apology from President Biden for the words, some of the words used?
An apology from the President Biden.
To President-elect Trump for some of the words that was used on the campaign trail.
Look. And
she's acting like she is what are you talking about? I know not what you speak.
Yeah, well, again, right? Like this is the theme of the segment, which is these people, these politicians on both sides are some of the most disingenuous, hypocritical people walking the face of the free earth. And this is why, and maybe we'll get into it next segment, maybe we'll get into this. People are going to find out real quick. You're going to find out real quick whether these Republicans mean a word about what they said about supporting Trump and his agenda, because he's putting the sort of people forward that he promised to during the campaign. Mm-hmm. He's setting the sort of agenda that he promised to during the campaign, and we're going to find out whether the Republicans actually mean any of it.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Galloway for a three. Throws it up and in, and a foul. For a three, yes.
Mike Goodson has an exciting roster of veterans, transfers, and freshmen. The pre-conference season continues against the South Carolina Gamecocks Saturday.
Throws it up, got it!
John Herrick has the pregame at 2. Don Fisher with the tip at 3 on your home for IU basketball. 93 WIBC.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and I asked my wife this morning why women don't want to get their carpets cleaned. She said they absolutely do want to get their carpets cleaned, but they just don't want the hassle. I get it. Nobody wants to have to move furniture, worry about people that they don't know coming into the house, worrying about the chemicals they're using, and then waiting around for things to dry. I get it. But that's not Zero Res. And with their gotta love it guarantee, they're going to make sure it's a great experience that you'll never, ever regret. There is nobody better at cleaning than Zero Res. Right now, get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $129 and $75 off air duct cleaning too. That's a $40 savings on the carpet cleaning. The Zero Res service is easy to line up, and you can go online at ZeroResIndy.com to do the scheduling at your convenience. Just call them and mention WIBC. It's Zero Res. Call 317-388-5141 or book things online at ZeroResIndy.com. That's ZeroResIndy.com.
Get ready. The brand new Fishers Event Center is opening the doors on November 22nd, and you won't want to miss it. From electrifying concerts to pulse-pounding sports events, dazzling theatrical performances to unforgettable family fun days, Fishers Event Center is the ultra-modern entertainment arena that offers something special for everyone. Unforgettable experiences begin November 22nd. For a complete list of upcoming events, tickets, and more details, go to FishersEventCenter.com.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
In the fight against lung cancer, it's game on, game strong. Franciscan Health leads the way with robotic technology to find and treat cancer sooner. Our entire team of multidisciplinary experts let cancer know it's hard to play against us. Franciscan Health is changing the game for lung cancer patients. Schedule a consultation or second opinion today. Visit franciscanhealth.org/lung cancer care.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Hey, it's Rob Kendall. Join me November 21st at Hi-Fi, a celebrity bartender toast to Moselle Sanders, powered by Jack Daniels. I'll be one of the local celebrities creating a unique craft cocktail for you to enjoy. But here's the twist. You get to be the judge of who created the best cocktail. Not only will you have a great time tasting unique drinks, but you'll also be supporting the Moselle Sanders Foundation. Your ticket starting at just $20 helps us reach our goal of $10,000 to feed 10,000 people this Thanksgiving. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at hifiindy.com.
Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub.
Ah, Royal Spa. Give family a call for your family maintenance plan, 317-577-8077. Maintenance is crucial.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
So Ron DeSantis tweeted out, congratulations to the Floridians being appointed to key positions in the Trump administration. Senator Marco Rubio, Congressman Matt Gaetz, and Congressman Mike Waltz. He said that he's instructed the Secretary of State to formulate and announce a schedule for the upcoming special elections immediately. So lots of openings in Florida, but as Trump rolls out these cabinet positions, it's like every morning is Christmas.
Do you congratulate people before they've actually been confirmed? Like I would like you to be in this position.
Kind of like being nominated without
Right.
winning yet.
Right. It's like you have not actually won the Academy Award. You've been nominated for the Academy Award. Do you send out congratulations until that's
Yeah,
complete?
I think you do. It's nice to be mentioned, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like we were nominated for a Marconi this year, so we, you know, maybe that's maybe that's what you do. All right. So the big one that came out yesterday was Gaetz as the Attorney General.
Yeah.
And I love this. And Tulsi Gabbard got the intelligence director, correct? Yeah. So I love both of these because they're totally outside the box picks, and which is what Trump promised to do. And we're going to find out from these senators, all these people who rode Trump to the majority, because let's face it, in a place like Ohio, if Mitt Romney had been the presidential nominee, Sherrod Brown would have been reelected. It was Donald Trump that got him across the finish line. Same thing in Montana. If you'd have had Romney at the top of the ticket, John Tester would have still been a senator. Certainly the same thing in a place like Pennsylvania. They have the 53-person majority now solely to thank Donald. They can solely thank Donald Trump for having a 53-person majority. So Donald Trump runs on, we've got to totally reform the government. We've got to bring people in who will be wrecking balls to all facets of our government. He wins across the board in all of the swing, not just some of them. He wins all of the swing states. And so he's telling the Senate, he's telling the John Thunes of the world, who is not a friend of Donald Trump, okay, you've pledged to support me. You've pledged to support changing government as we know it. Here is the first test for you in these outside the box picks who I am telling you I need to change the government.
So a lot of people are speculating whether Gaetz will get confirmed or not. But here's the thing. Even if he doesn't become Attorney General, well, there's a Senate opening in Florida, his home state.
Okay, yeah. But the thing with Gaetz is he's never been charged with anything, correct? He's never been convicted of anything, correct? He's certainly continued to serve in the House. The House has proven that they're not afraid to expel someone, see George Santos. So what are the allegations actually against Gaetz? What, he had a wild sexual past? I mean, okay, like, all right. I mean, like, if this guy were, the Night Stalker, wouldn't you have seen formal charge? I mean, this has been out there forever, right? I mean, the allegations, and by the way, He outed himself on that. He came out and said, these things are coming out against me. This is crap. I'm going to fight it. He responded the way you would expect someone who was not guilty of allegations to respond. And he's pushed back, and by and large, he has won the day on those allegations against him. So here's an opportunity for these senators to decide whether allegations, because we saw this with Kavanaugh, the allegation itself. The allegation was never proven. In many cases, the allegation was completely debunked. We're going to find out from these senators, because they hate him. You know they hate him because he's a hothead, right? He speaks his mind.
Right. Well, that's the thing. It's not any of the allegations. It's just the fact that they don't like him. But here's something to consider. Gaetz resigned from Congress already.
That's correct.
And
he's out of a job.
Once he's no longer a member of Congress, those ethics committee, they have no jurisdiction over him.
Right.
So does that mean any investigation is going to cease?
Well, that's the theory, is that he quit before they could release the report. Now, look, is Gaetz a controversial pick? Absolutely. Is the juice worth the squeeze? If you're Trump, I don't know. He's going to have to expend a lot of political capital in getting him into that position. And Trump is not an idiot. He clearly knows that. There's a reason he wants Matt Gaetz in that position. And so my response to this would be, Donald Trump ran on, I'm going to put controversial people in these positions. It's not like people don't want status quo. People are sick of status quo. People had status quo. They voted against status quo. If I'm a U.S. Senator, unless you can show me some tangible evidence that Matt Gaetz is indeed John Wayne Gacy, as he's accused of being, which they've had all these years and they can't do it, then the guy was a sitting congressman. He hadn't been indicted. He hadn't been kicked out of the House. He hadn't been rebuked. None of that stuff had happened with Matt Gaetz. There were allegations, and thus far, all we've seen is Matt Gaetz might have had a wild sexual past. Which, hey, ye who is not guilty of that in Congress cast the first stone, right? I mean, come on. So I would, unless I see some tangible evidence that he had done some heinous crime against humanity, I'm absolutely voting to confirm Trump's nominees for these positions.
Yeah, Gaetz, of course, has proven that he's very controversial, even within his own party. And Trump could look to appoint him through a recess appointment. But you mentioned controversial. Here's a classic Gaetz clip.
Like, why is it that the women with the least likelihood of getting pregnant are the ones most worried about having abortions? Nobody wants to impregnate you if you look like a thumb.
Is it safe to say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
Be offended. He don't care.
I would vote for him just based on that response, because like we talked about with Hinchcliffe, we need more people in society who, if you say something and you mean it, don't apologize for it. Don't let the media or the mob decide what your views are or what is right. And that's what we need as Attorney General in this country. We have seen a weaponization of justice in this country against a political party. And look, this started way before Donald Trump. This started long before Donald Trump. Obviously, he has been front and center. Would I have picked Matt Gaetz? No. I think you could have got the same results from somebody else, but that's Trump's prerogative as president. And if you're going to ride that guy to the Senate majority, then you have an obligation. You have an obligation to confirm him. And other than the usual suspects of Collins and Murkowski, because Romney's out of there, I can't think of one of these. Well, Spendenberg, of course, Spending. So there's three, but all the rest of the 50, as far as I can remember, have said, hey, we're on board with Team Trump and we'll gladly take the majority. So y'all better line up and get it done.
So a reporter asked Representative Massey about his nomination for Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. And I love his response, too.
He'll get confirmed by the Senate. Doesn't need to. He's the Attorney General. Suck it up.
So he says, will he be confirmed by the Senate? And Massey said, doesn't need to. We recess. He's the AG. Suck it up.
This would be a disaster, though. And I think part of what Trump is doing is he's testing. Okay, you guys want to, don't kid yourself that this comes out right after Thune is picked to be the leader of the Senate. Okay. You said
want to play this game?
Jim Banks, you guys all wanted this dude, so we're going to find out real quick how pro-Trump the Senate's going to be. I love this. I love the Tulsi Gabbard pick. What is happening in our government is not working. I love the Hegseth pick. I love all these outside-the-box nominations. I think they're great. Let's turn the whole thing upside down. Let's see what shakes out, and let's get some new people in there.
So we've got more Matt Gaetz we're going to play, and we also are going to hear what John Fetterman thinks about all of this coming up from 93 WIBC.
Healthcare.gov has plans for health because you have plans for life. All plans cover doctor visits and emergency care to keep you and your family running strong. All plans cover hospital stays and prescriptions so you can have peace of mind. Visit healthcare.gov to explore health plans from the brands you know. 4 out of 5 customers can find a health plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Enroll at healthcare.gov by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
This one may be a challenge. It's 54 and cloudy downtown. Some spotty showers on radar. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. President-elect Trump making waves with his selection of now former Congressman Matt Gaetz to be the nation's Attorney General. Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
A Senate confirmation for Congressman Matt Gaetz could be an uphill climb to get the necessary 50 votes to become Attorney General. Republican Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota is one of those not committing to approving Gaetz.
We always allow the president to have the benefit of the doubt, but we still have to do our role in terms of due diligence.
Some Democrats believe Gaetz is unqualified for the job, while those backing the pick say he can help reform the Department of Justice. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Meanwhile, Senator Mitch McConnell is calling the choice of John Thune as the next Senate Republican leader well-deserved. The South Dakota senator was chosen after 2 secret ballot votes over Rick Scott of Florida and John Cornyn of Texas. McConnell said Thune's selection is a clear endorsement of a consummate leader. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. We're mixed again to start the day. The Dow was up 92 to 44,200. The NASDAQ is down 28 to 21,131. And the S&P 500 is down 2 to 6,013. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, what's all this I hear about seasons free things?
Yeah, we're giving away even more than usual this season.
Free alignment with any Ford tire purchase isn't seasonal, Mike. It's free every day at Tire Discounters.
Sure, but right now, guess what else happens every day?
I know that customers can save up to $250 on Michelin tires.
Absolutely. Now, guess what else?
Mike, I'm a phantom tire buyer with a secret identity. Please don't toy with me.
Okay, here's the deal.
Yes?
We're doing these drawings.
Like a game show.
And one lucky customer per day wins all their money back for 4 tires.
Spectacular! But why call it seasons free things?
You know, season's greetings. It's like a play on words.
Yes, of course it is. I knew that.
It's seasons free things at Tire Discounters. One lucky customer per day wins their money back on tires. Everyone saves big on major brands like Continental. And a free alignment and oil change comes with every 4 tire purchase.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and 1-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-444-9336. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-9336. That's 800-444-9336. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-444-9336.
Hey guys, it's Rob Kendall. Give back November 21st at Hi-Fi. Get tickets to a celebrity bartender toast to Moselle Sanders, powered by Jack Daniels. A night of community, Jack Daniels cocktails, and fighting food insecurity. Sample signature cocktails crafted by celebrity bartenders, all working to help raise $10,000 to feed 10,000 people this Thanksgiving through the Moselle Sanders Foundation. Tickets start at $20, with all proceeds benefiting Moselle Sanders Foundation's mission to support families in need. Get tickets at hifiindy.com.
$182,000.
What?
Yeah, $182,000. According to CBS News, the average American loses out on an average of $182,000 in Social Security income. And it's because they filed for their benefits, Rob, at the wrong time.
Learn how you could avoid this with a free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy.
We trust Bill to help with planning for our retirement, and you can too.
This free analysis could help you get the most income from Social Security while considering the impact on your spousal benefits, taxes, IRAs, and 401k withdrawals, and Medicare premiums.
If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis by calling 317-932-9912.
Don't lose $182,000 in Social Security income that's rightfully yours.
Call 317-932-9912. That's 317-932-9912.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Consider this. Vivek Ramaswamy is 39 years old. J.D. Vance and Elise Stefanik are 40. Matt Gaetz is 42. Tulsi Gabbard's 43. Pete Hegseth and Lee Zeldin are 44. So many of these appointments that Donald Trump is making, empowering younger generations to lead the country.
Yeah, so my generation now is in charge.
That's right. So the boomers held on for so long, and they were unwilling to hand over the power. Now Donald Trump is stepping up, and it's somewhat of a noble thing to do, saying, you know what, your time has come and gone. Let's let the new generation take over.
So Ramaswamy is 39, which means he's basically the same age as I am. And it's so weird to think that my generation is now running the country because, now granted, everybody doesn't start at the same standpoint. Like some people are more affluent, some people are, born on third base. I get that. But what I'm saying is, like, okay, you graduate high school. Like he graduated, a year after me, but we all are basically graduating school at the same time. And then look at where our lives went from there.
How's that make you feel about your choices?
Like, you see somebody like that and you just think, well, they've always been highly successful. They were just born that way. And then you realize, no. The reality is,
child of immigrants.
Well, the choices you make in your life, I was thinking about this last night. The choices you make in your life, there are pivot points in your existence where what I mean by that is, and Kevin and I have talked about this before, where whatever choice you make from at this moment will dictate how you go forward. And there are I call them pivot points, and they come, sometimes it's every 2 years, sometimes it's every 4 years, sometimes it's every 10 years. But there are moments where whatever choice I'm going to make is going to dictate the life that I will lead going forward for the foreseeable future. And I really wish, going back in time, someone had explained to me, like, the idea, okay, if you choose to have a degree in general studies, that's going to be fun, and you're going to be on the dean's list, and we're going to chuckle about that. But that's probably going to limit your ability to earn money going forward, because you're not going to have a degree in a skill set that you can leverage into money, right? And so I've just accepted I'm going to be poor my whole life, Casey.
Well, I mean, think about J.D. Vance. He certainly was not born with a silver spoon in his mouth. I watched the Hillbilly Elegy while I was on vacation, by the way. It's very...
That's what you spent your vacation doing?
Well,
really?
on the plane.
Wow.
It was very, very sad. And when you consider where he started from and where he is now, you're right. That pivot point It's your choice and what you're going to do with it.
And what I mean by this is, like, when I was in college, I owned my own business, and it was pretty successful at that point. And I was always thinking to myself, I don't need any of this, right? Like, I'm just doing this because there's a lot of stupid people that I went to school with, and I don't want them. That's literally why I got a college degree, was because there's a lot of stupid people that I went to school with, and I don't want them having what they would perceive as leverage over me. And that's a horrible way to live your life, right? Like, I've been so successful.
To spite
I've
other
been so
people.
successful living a life out of spite, Casey.
Spite's a great motivator, Rob.
I've changed as I've gotten older, right? I've mellowed quite a bit. But early on, yes, much of what I did and the success I had was purely out of spite for other people.
Do you ever consider going back to school?
No.
Getting a law degree, something like that?
No. I'm way too old for that. I have said I will be drug out of here in a body bag or in handcuffs, and then after that, I'm going to a Wendy's somewhere. I mean, but the point is, you really do. The choices you make when you're younger really do dictate the life you're going to lead going forward. And I wish I had been able to, with the benefit of, foresight or hindsight or one of those sites, been able to say, okay, you need to learn a skill. You need to learn a trade that's going to make you more valuable. Because while I ended up here, which is where I always wanted to be, I went in just the largest circle you could imagine, Casey. I've never walked anywhere in a straight line. And life is much easier, Casey, when you walk in a straight line. So you think about a guy like a Ramaswamy. Think of all the money he's made and the success he's had, because I bet his degree is not in general studies.
Probably not, but you have to consider life is a journey, not a guided
I bet
tour,
I had more
Rob.
fun than he did, though, Casey. I bet I had more fun.
Possibly. I know you guys touched on this yesterday, but Donald Trump nominated Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, it's a choice that surprised a lot of people due to his lack of government experience. But on the other hand, you have to consider the guy hasn't been spending all of this time in the D.C. swamp, so he's not swayed. He's not dirty.
Well, you think about it, if you're running a business and things aren't working, government is the only thing that doesn't work on a massive scale, and they think, well, let's keep hiring the same sort of people for this position. You look at it's kind of what we're seeing in our own state, in the sense of like Micah Beckwith. And Micah puts things out and says things that I wouldn't necessarily do if I were in his position, but I'm not in his position. And then people lose their minds, and it's like, yeah, but people are sick of the crap. They're sick of the business as usual. Would I have gone at the IU journalism students? No, probably not. And Micah and I had a long talk about that the other day, but I get where he's coming from. He's like, we don't have to take your crap anymore. Like, I'm not going to take your crap. I'm going to speak out. If I see things happening, I'm going to say something about it.
At least you know that's honest and that's not scripted.
You're right. And so, it's a balancing act, right, of finding the right things to lean into at the right times, and you can't lean into, and this is what I told him the other day. I said, look, you want to lean into everything all the time. You simply can't do it. You'll drive yourself insane. But that guy is a real dude behaving in a real way, and he's saying things that people believe. And in the case of the IU journalism students, look, IU can whatever they want. Well, none of our money goes to journalism. It's the same crappy argument we hear with Planned Parenthood. Well, none of our federal money goes to abortion. The reality is you're getting federal money and you're doing abortions in the case of Planned Parenthood. You can whatever accounting trick you want to say the money doesn't go to that. Same thing with IU. They're asking for like $400 million in the upcoming legislative session for the state. You are asking for money. You have a journalism program. You can bananas it. You can call it bananas if you want. The reality is public money goes to IU, and IU has a journalism program, and they're totally left and wacky liberal, and they hate Donald Trump. And so Micah Beckwith is going to speak out about that. The point of this is same thing with this Hegseth guy or Gaetz or Tulsi Gabbard. What is happening has been happening is not working. The people are desperate for something different. Let's give them something different. And then if they screw it up, we'll say, see, you were no different than all the rest.
So this is what Hegseth said that he would do if he was the Secretary of Defense.
There's a chance to course correct it, but it would take the new Trump administration going after it really hard.
How would they correct it?
Well, first of all, you got to fire, you got to fire the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and you got to fire this. I mean, obviously, you're going to bring in a new Secretary of Defense, but any general that was involved, general, admiral, whatever that was involved in any of the DEI woke, it's got to go. Either you're in for war fighting, and that's it. And that's the only litmus test we care about. You got to get DEI and CRT out of military academies, so you're not training young officers to be baptized in this type of thinking. And then, whatever the standards, whatever the combat standards were, say, in, 1995, let's just make those the standards. And as far as recruiting, to hire the guy that, did Top Gun Maverick and create some real ads that motivate people to want to serve. And there's lots of other ways in which you could identify who gets promoted and what, but there's an ethos change. I mean, there's a reason people don't want to serve, because they don't trust that their senior leaders are going to have their best interest in mind in combat.
Another guy who's not afraid of controversy and not afraid to say what he thinks, because he publicly stated that he does not think that women should be involved in combat roles at all.
And we played that clip yesterday and wanted to play it again because it's really good. And I will say this, as somebody who's not on the level this guy's about to go into, or Gaetz or whoever, but if you want to do government right, it is a painful, thankless experience. And the 2 years I spent in government were two of the most miserable years personally of my existence, because I had been able to make a difference on a local level. And I thought, okay, we'll bring that same passion and energy to the state and we'll make the difference there. That ain't how it works. It's a much bigger monstrosity. And all I had to do on a local level is convince two other people to agree with me, and hey, we can get whatever done. And you can cult a personality your way to that on a local level. It doesn't exist at the state, and I can't even imagine what the federal government is like. And I did such a good job in my first position in the state, I let them rope me into another position, even though I wanted to go home and be done. And letting them rope me into another position was the most miserable year of my life. It was fighting with my superiors every single day. It was a recognition that they don't actually care about efficiency, that they don't actually care about effectiveness, they don't actually care about the taxpayer, that it is, I've always compared it to the hamster on the wheel. Most people in government just want the hamster to stay on the wheel, because as long as the hamster is on the wheel keeps turning, and the wheel turning is the paycheck and the power and all the stuff that comes with being in upper level positions in government. And if you fight that, they will hate you. They will try to destroy you. They will make you miserable. And after 2 years, I had to get out of it because I was going to die of a stroke or a heart attack by the time I was 35, and it totally ruined it for me. And I had to stop it and get out of it altogether because I valued my life, being able to live. So a guy like this who's going in to try to fix a federal bureaucracy the size of defense in this country, I can't even imagine what's in front of him. It sounds like these guys are on some, the glamour of being the head of a cabinet level position. Oh my gosh. Not if you want to make a difference. If you're just somebody like Dan Coates or Mitch McConnell's wife or these grifter people who are just in the position, the career government people, then okay, it's not that big a deal because you're not trying to make a difference. You're not trying to make a change. You're not trying to fundamentally change the process. A guy like this is going to try to fundamentally change the process and the whole system, and God bless him, and I pray for him that he will be successful.
Well, and another thing that I really like about him in this choice is that he's not so far removed that he forgets what it's like.
Yeah, you're right.
He was just in Afghanistan and Iraq, and it wasn't that long ago in his life that back in my day, it still is his day. It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
This is a well-timed message from American Bullion, so get ready to write down an important number or to put it into your phone. Many Americans are owning gold to preserve their wealth and protect themselves from inflation, potential market crashes, and worldwide crises. Why American Bullion? Through American Bullion, you can transfer your existing IRA or roll over your old 401k into an IRA capable of holding precious metals. It's a hassle-free, tax-free process and takes just a few days to complete it. Call us today for your free gold guide and find out how easy it is to own gold and other precious metals. Protect your IRA or old 401k with our hassle-free and tax-free process. American Bullion, where we say, peace of gold, peace of mind. Call 800-456-7475. That's 800-456-7475. 800-456-7475. 800-456-7475.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people, obviously. But what's more, MediShare members like it. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. Imagine that. And MediShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing. If you join before November 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee, so you save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is November 15th. So call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number, 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE.
Get in gear with fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get a brand new 2024 Navigator. Get an incredible $10,000 off plus 0% for 60 months. Or get $7,000 off select new 2024 Lincoln Aviators plus 0% for 60 months. So get some of those fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Qualified buyers with approved credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Taxes and dealer fees extra. Stock number L24412. MSRP 104,200. Stock number L24208. MSRP 75,300. See dealer for complete details.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra is making its way back to Gamebridge Fieldhouse on December 19th with an all-new show, The Lost Christmas Eve Tour. For tickets and more information, head to WIBC.com.
Donald Trump announced yesterday that Tulsi Gabbard will serve as his Director of National Intelligence. And that's a role that puts her at the head of the U.S. intelligence community, which is ironic considering she was on a watch list under the Biden administration.
Well, it's a good pick, right? I mean, it's giving people an opportunity who have publicly talked about major issues with these agencies. It's giving these people an opportunity to step up and do something about it. All right, you've said all these things. You are clearly qualified. You are a sitting member of the United States Congress. You are a decorated member of the military. You're clearly qualified. Let's give you an opportunity to correct these issues.
I love all the videos that are coming out showing her, with her armor and everything. She just looks like a total unit. I wouldn't mess with her at all. But I wanted to play this clip. I think this is John Fetterman, and he's talking about Donald Trump's cabinet positions or appointments.
I mean, I would describe it as God tier level trolling to just trigger a full-on China syndrome to own the libs in perpetuity.
He says that this is full-on trolling. I don't think it's trolling.
The only pick that you would say that's probably not great was the Gaetz one. Now, I say as a senator, unless you could show me some sort of evidence that Matt Gaetz was guilty of some crime against humanity, and thus far they've been at it for a very long time, and there's no evidence of that, I would confirm Gaetz because he's a sitting member of Congress, or was a sitting member of Congress. He meets the qualifications for the position, and as someone who wants Trump to succeed, let's give him every opportunity. The rest of them, Tulsi Gabbard, what about her? Why is she outside the mainstream? Hegseth, I don't want to hear it at Fox News. The guy went to Princeton, he went to Harvard, he's a decorated member of the military, he's clearly knows his stuff, he's totally qualified. It's like, unless you're a system person, well, then you're somebody that they're going to have trouble with. And Trump really has kind of found a middle ground between outside the box and traditional people. He's got Rubio, obviously, in there. Zeldin. These are traditional, mainstream, quote-unquote, conservative people. And so
I say give him a shot at all of these. If these people failed, then that's on Trump and that's on these people. Let's give him a shot.
Well, the thing is, with Trump, he's not afraid to fire people if they're not doing their job.
Well, it is a huge, now, if you're Tulsi Gabbard or Hegseth, you're not in government. Now, because maybe Merritt and I were talking about this, all these days run together. The Rubio one is the one that kind of floors me because you're giving up your own destiny, which is as a U.S. senator, as long as you keep getting reelected, which he clearly was doing very well at in as a senator in Florida, and that's a red state now, and Rubio seems to have a stranglehold in terms of primary voters, and he wasn't getting challenged there. You're safe. For as long as you want to be a senator, you're safe. You're giving that up at the whim of a kind of a madman, right?
But the thing with Rubio is the job of the Secretary of State is to be a diplomat, right? So he's going to be working with our allies. If it takes a stronger hand than what Rubio has, well, that's going to be Trump directly.
I just think working for and around Trump is a fairly exhausting endeavor. Like, you and I both worked for the same guy at one point, not at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could both agree that was a fairly exhausting endeavor, even if you were on his good side, right? It doesn't mean the guy's not successful. He clearly was, but it was like, going to work each day. You do that for more than a couple of years, you're kind of tired.
Or here's an idea. Maybe he just wants to do it for his country.
Yeah, he's a politician. I think he's in it for himself.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. Good morning.
As the summer fades and the cool breeze of fall sets in, it's the perfect time to get back to the basics, especially when it comes to your financial future. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe in simplifying your retirement plan. Our team of advisors help you build a customized retirement strategy that is designed to help reduce risk, increase income, and mitigate tax. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your plan, we're here to guide you every step of the way. It's never too early or too late to make sure your financial future is secure. Text BASICS to 888-262-1104 to download your complimentary retirement planning toolkit today. That's BASICS to 888-262-1104. Howard Bailey Financial. Back to the basics. Forward to your future. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
A true partner in your health dedicates time to understanding your needs. At CenterWell Senior Primary Care, doctors make one-on-one time with you a priority, so you can get all your questions answered and feel more confident in your health care. See how it feels to have a team of senior care experts working together to help you feel your best. CenterWell, it's about time. Schedule a tour today at meetcenterwell.com. That's meetcenterwell.com.
I've been a loyal Window Nation customer for a number of years now, been saving money on my energy bills. In fact, experts are saying heating costs are going to increase up to 23% this winter, and that's why you need Window Nation windows, which, by the way, are 50% off.
I'm a Window Nation customer, and with this deal, you can be a Window Nation customer. 0% interest for 5 years, but you got to hustle. This deal ends November 30th. 866-90-NATION. Call today or go to windownation.com.
Miss M's Home and Garden and Sundown Gardens fall sale is still on. 30 to 50% off all trees and shrubs in stock. It's a great time to finish up your landscape for next year, and if you're ready to start interior holiday decorating, they have you covered. Stop in and shop those stunning displays filled with the best quality Christmas decor. Holiday open houses are coming the weekend before Thanksgiving. Miss M's in Bargersville on State Road 135 south of Whiteland Road. Sundown Gardens at 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield.
One of the real advantages that we have here at Hendricks is the scope of the services that we have to offer in orthopedics.
Whether they have a hip fracture or they're a high-functioning athlete, we're all working towards the same thing.
To have them be able to have an elective surgery safely and then go home also in a safe fashion is of utmost importance.
We very much want everyone to get back to doing everything that they were doing beforehand. We're really invested in it.
Unstoppable orthopedic care. Learn more at hendricks.org/ortho.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Hey guys, it's Rob Kendall. Give back November 21st at Hi-Fi. Get tickets to a celebrity bartender toast to Moselle Sanders, powered by Jack Daniels. A night of community, Jack Daniels cocktails, and fighting food insecurity. Sample signature cocktails crafted by celebrity bartenders, all working to help raise $10,000 to feed 10,000 people this Thanksgiving through the Moselle Sanders Foundation. Tickets start at $20, with all proceeds benefiting Moselle Sanders Foundation's mission to support families in need. Get tickets at hifiindy.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, the NFL Scouting Combine is sticking around in Indianapolis a little while longer. Plus, Gary police shot and killed a man Wednesday. What happened leading up to it, and why the Pacers once again came up short to the Magic. I'm Kirk Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recycler Studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Make America Florida. I'm Chris Foster. Fox News. President-elect Trump announces now former Florida House Republican Matt Gaetz as his Attorney General nominee. He's been under a House Ethics Committee investigation, and a vote on whether to release its report was happening tomorrow. The president-elect's plucking several people from his now home state to serve in his administration.
President-elect Donald Trump has so far named 3 of Florida's Congress members to prominent roles. U.S. Senator Marco Rubio is to be nominated as Secretary of State. Representative Michael Waltz is his pick to be his national security advisor, and Representative Matt Gaetz is his choice for Attorney General. Gaetz has already resigned his House seat, to which he was reelected just last week. This means Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will appoint a successor to Rubio in the U.S. Senate, but is also arranging for special elections in short order in both Gaetz's and Waltz's districts, which are considered solidly red. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
9 races are still too close to call, but Republicans now have won enough seats to retain control of the House. Speaker Mike Johnson on Fox.
We need the House Republicans and the Senate Republicans to be in lockstep on exactly the same page, and we will be.
The balance of power in the House currently sits at 218 seats for Republicans, 208 for the Democrats. The Senate majority is 53-47, but there's now a statewide recount kicking in Pennsylvania, where Republican David McCormick has a very slim lead over incumbent Democrat Bob Casey, and he is not conceding. New unemployment claims at the lowest level since May. Wholesale inflation's up a bit.
The producer price index rose 0.2% over September and up 0.3, excluding food and energy, as expected. For the year ending in October, prices rose 2.4%, and core PPI, excluding food and energy, rose 3.1%.
That's Fox's Ginny Casola. Stocks start the day flat on Wall Street. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Adding another year. Some spotty showers on radar, otherwise cloudy, 54 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. The NFL Scouting Combine is staying in Indianapolis. John Herrick with more.
The NFL announced that the Combine is staying in Indianapolis through 2026. That is a one-year extension for the event. The 2024 NFL Combine brought roughly $10 million to Indianapolis. Indy has hosted the Combine since 1987. At the NFL Combine every year, college football players perform both physical and mental tests in front of National Football League coaches, general managers, and scouts in an attempt to make an NFL roster. Reporting in downtown Indianapolis, John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A man shot and killed by police in Gary Wednesday. It was part of an undercover operation, so says Police Chief Derek Cannon.
This operation was in response to a rash of robberies, which included threats of violence, money and property being taken that stem from online or social media attempts to buy and or sell items.
Cannon says Shahad Richmond was the suspect, and he says that he came at undercover officers with a machete, forcing them to respond with gunshots. Richmond died later on at the hospital. Gas is cheap and expected to get cheaper. That's the assessment of IU economist Kyle Anderson.
So we've seen energy prices and gas prices coming down steadily, really over the last 2 or 3 years, ever since sort of peak inflation.
And he says before you begin speculating, Anderson adds that Donald Trump's re-election has had no impact at all on cheaper oil. Gas is the cheapest it's been since mid-January in Indiana. The presidents of Purdue and Indiana universities are asking for hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer money from you for upcoming projects. These are just requests for now as lawmakers await the December revenue forecast. Slipping back below 500.
The Pacers are beaten in Orlando, a disastrous fourth quarter, and they lose it 94-90.
Disastrous indeed. The Pacers turned the ball over 16 times in the second half after leading at halftime. They open up group play in the NBA Cup on Friday against Miami. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Okay, close your mouth and take a deep breath in through your nose. So the way it's supposed to be is that you should be able to breathe easily. You shouldn't feel constrained. What it should feel like is air briskly flowing freely through both nasal passages, day and night. And if not, there's a problem. And it's a don't know what your problem really was until you got it fixed kind of problem. You're living with it. I mean, you're tired a lot. It might give you headaches and sinus pressure, but you're living with it. Yeah, you sound like almost every patient we help until we get their problem fixed. And then you hear them saying, why would I put up with that? Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard air dealer in Indianapolis.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, November 14th. It's 5 minutes after 10. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So your current Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, he's over in Brussels, and while he's there, he's saying that the current administration in Washington would not waver in its support for Ukraine.
As we're working to make sure that Ukraine has what it needs to effectively defend itself, the United States continues to step up. We've obligated just recently and pushed out the door another $8 billion in security assistance for Ukraine. That was in September. Another almost $500 million just a few weeks ago. And President Biden is committed to making sure that every dollar we have at our disposal will be pushed out the door between now and January 20th.
Did you hear that right? He said every dollar we have at our disposal will be given to someone else.
Which is $0 because we have no actual money.
Right.
We're $35 trillion in debt, so every dollar is a printed dollar. But that tells you that is this administration in a nutshell. You can't afford food. You're struggling to afford rent. You got 15 million people illegally in this country, and their concern is let's get as much to some other country who doesn't even like us as we possibly can. Now, Trump's going to have to figure this out fast because he was one of the campaign promises he made is, I'll figure this out in 24 hours. And I think the way this is going to go is something similar to this. He's going to sit down with Putin and he's going to say, what do you actually want? You're not getting everything you want. You're not getting all of this land back, and you're not obviously taking over Ukraine, and they're going to still be independent and closely protected. What do you actually want within reason? And then he's going to get that, and once it is within reason, he's going to go to Zelensky and go, we're done protecting you. There's an end date on this. So you have two options. We have now decided this ask is reasonable, and we are prepared to support this. You have two options. You can either agree to this, which is going to involve you giving back some land, or you can just be on your own going forward. And I think that's how it's going to go within a couple months of Trump being in office. And then we'll hopefully be done with this because this has reached a point of ridiculousness that we don't know what we're getting for our money. We don't know where our money's going. I mean, we know a bunch of it ended up with the FTX guy. We do know that. But we have no idea where this money's being spent, how it's being spent. And I think most Americans are just sick of it. They're done with it, and they're ready for this to be over.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Trump has been really critical about this, and he has said, give me 24 hours, and this will be done, and it's time to move on from this. So they're going to have to reach some sort of agreement.
Putin knows that Zelensky does not operate from a position of strength. And what I mean by that is it's sort of what happened with the insurgents in the Iraq War. The insurgents in the Iraq War knew U.S. does not operate from a position of strength because look at the existence we had before. Not exactly a weekend at the Bellagio, right? It's not exactly, a five-star resort. And so they knew the U.S. largely did this of their own accord. They are spending their own money. And so we don't have to actually beat them. We just have to outlast them. It's sort of in reverse here, but with Russia in the sense of they recognize Zelensky can't do anything on his own. He's totally beholden to Daddy Sugar Bucks, the U.S., and with some help from some other countries in order to stay afloat. The Russia can go as long as they want. They don't have to actually succeed. Putin is a dictator. He can do whatever he wants to do. And so they recognize eventually people will get tired of it, which the people in this country are, and they will not find value in their money being spent on this, which they don't. And so he's basically won from that accord. And so Zelensky's going to have to be convinced the easy way or the hard way of reality, which is you're going to lose land. We will make sure you're not actually in any sort of threat, and then everybody will save face and go home.
Well, here's Chuck Schumer, and here he is pretty much begging Republicans to just take it easy on them now that Trump has won the election and has majorities in both chambers.
Now let me turn to my colleagues on the other side of the aisle.
Please.
Another closely contested election now comes to an end. To my Republican colleagues, I offer a word of caution in good faith. Take care not to misread the will of the people, and do not abandon the need for bipartisanship. After winning an election, the temptation may be to go to the extreme. We've seen that happen over the decades, and it's consistently backfired on the party in power.
Does anybody really need advice from Chuck Schumer at this point? You lost.
Yeah, but the Republicans always do this. The Republicans always allow the Democrats to put their boot right down their throat, and then when they get back in power, they go, oh, let's just all get along.
Let's be nice.
This is what Hammer and I have a saying on our Degenerates Next Door podcast, which we have the college for this week is already out. NFL will drop today. Degenerates Next Door, wherever you get your podcasts at. We have a saying on our show, and it is Florida is ass. That is our saying. Whenever we in a game that involves betting on Florida, our saying is what?
I can't wait to see how you're going to tie that into Chuck Schumer.
Oh, yeah. Well, get ready. This is why we're number one.
Okay.
Florida is ass.
Okay.
And the reality is the Republican brand is ass. The Republicans, people hate the Republicans. Think about how poorly the down ballot Republicans did compared to Trump.
Right.
If it were not for Trump, it would have been another bloodbath election because people don't like the Republicans. They don't trust the Republicans. The Republicans lie to people. The Republicans regularly don't follow through on their campaign promises. The Republicans are ass. And we're going to see it again because there's a good chance the Murkowski, the Collins people, they're going to have a prominent voice. Well, right. I mean, look at who they picked. They picked an anti-Trump guy who is right in line, who is Mitch McConnell's number 2 guy.
Right.
It's 3 words. Or 4 words if we put the Republicans are ass. That is the theme of the past 20 plus years since George Bush was president. And so there's a good chance that no matter what was done to them, they'll just let Schumer and the Democrats have some semblance of say or power. They'll regularly rebuke Trump. They won't get to work for the American people, and we'll be largely in the same position that we've always been, other than what Trump can get done through executive authority.
All right, let's talk about this other person that we've had enough of, and that is Anthony Fauci. He received $15 million in taxpayer-funded security after his retirement. Now, what does this include? Publicly funded chauffeur, fully staffed U.S. Marshal security detail, the cost of all salaries and benefits. All you're paying for this guy to be protected.
So this is, if you were to say, show me the problem with the federal government in one human being, it would be Anthony Fauci. So let's go back in time 40-ish years to the first time Anthony Fauci was brutally wrong about something, and that was how to deal with AIDS and HIV in this country. AIDS and HIV was set back in terms of dealing with it and allowing people who have contracted that horrible disease to live healthy, effective lives because of Anthony Fauci. Anthony Fauci was told very early on during the AIDS and HIV epidemic, you're not going to find a cure for this for a very long time. We need to figure out how to treat it so that people can live effective, productive lives after being diagnosed with it. He fought that. What did he fight for? He fought for a vaccine that didn't come and didn't work for decades. Gee, doesn't that sound familiar?
Yeah.
So fast forward 35 or whatever years it was later, and COVID hits, and Fauci is told, we need to figure out how to deal with this. There are, while not cures, there are remedies that will allow people, if they contract this, to get over it quicker, to live effective lives, to get back to health quicker. What did he do? He fought it for a vaccine that never materialized in terms of actually preventing people from getting COVID. This guy is a dumpster fire. He is wrong. He has been wrong multiple times about key issues related to public health, and yet he was the highest paid person in the federal government. He gets this windfall retirement, and then as insult to injury, he gets this disgusting amount of money for his private security after he's left the federal government.
Yeah, this after he led the charge on his disastrous COVID restrictions. He retires. He gets this huge, lavish pension and then $15 million security detail. Like, what? He's some endangered celebrity rather than a bureaucrat who failed to prevent the very crisis that he was profiting from.
Well, and never forget, Fauci, you talk about people making the same mistakes, and never forget that one of the issues early on with AIDS and HIV was that it was recognized, hey, homosexual men having risky sexual behavior is a major cause in the transmission of AIDS and HIV. And Fauci and the people in charge knew this, but because they were more concerned with political correctness rather than actually getting information to people so that they could be cognizant of this and hopefully present the spread and transmission, they wouldn't admit that publicly. They went out of their way to avoid saying this. And if you fast forward to COVID, 40, 35, whatever years down the road, instead of being honest with people and saying there is no cure for this, masking doesn't work, the social distancing stuff is ridiculous, they again, out of political correctness, I mean, there's the emails, right? The emails from Fauci are so damaging where they're talking about exactly what COVID is, exactly how the spread of it works, about exactly how masking doesn't work. He said in those emails exactly what was going on with COVID, yet making the same mistake that he made 35, 40 years ago with AIDS and HIV. This guy is one of the most disgraceful Americans who's ever lived, and yet he is propped up as some sort of great human being who did something for humanity.
Back where we started, here we go round again. It's the same story being repeated. And he also has his memoirs that he's making money off of, professorship at Georgetown. So he's got this total soft landing and now $15 million security detail. Meanwhile, you're left to pick up all the pieces of the policies that he promoted. The hypocrisy is just staggering. And I want to play this one last clip before we get into break. And this is Donald Trump. And here he is pledging to bring back production of medicine back to the United States. I've been railing on this for 2 solid years now because we know China produces up to 95% of certain common medicines that we here in the United States use all the time.
China produces 95% of all ibuprofen, 91% of hydrocortisone, 70% of all Tylenol, and nearly half of all penicillin. Can you imagine that? This is not just a public health crisis, it's a national security crisis. As part of my plan to obtain total independence from China, we will phase in tariffs and import restrictions to bring back production of all essential medicines to the United States of America where they belong.
Now, if this is part of Make America Healthy Again, I hope that this becomes a priority for him. That's scary to think of, that 95% of common medicines that we take all the time are produced in China?
Yeah.
That's national security is what that is. You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Ah, the colors of fall.
Orange cone zone. Orange cones all over the place. This time on the north side.
Orange.
Orange barrels are up, restricting the far left lane and then switching to the right lane.
And orange.
Aren't you glad that I didn't say orange again? That's a little traffic humor.
When the colors of fall have you seen red, orange.
If I never see orange again.
Turn to Matt Baird Traffic. Mornings and afternoons on 93 WIBC.
What does the joy of Christmas mean to you? A gift? Time with family? Decorations and traditions? At Shepherd Community, the joy of Christmas is learning to read, feeling safe and loved, finding a stable job, and having a community that cares. Shepherd gives its neighbors gifts of joy and hope for a brighter future. You can give the joy of Christmas to neighbors living in poverty, not just at the holidays, but all year long. Visit caringatchristmas.org/give. That's caringatchristmas.org/give.
In the fight against lung cancer, it's game on, game strong. Franciscan Health leads the way with robotic technology to find and treat cancer sooner. Our entire team of multidisciplinary experts let cancer know it's hard to play against us. Franciscan Health is changing the game for lung cancer patients. Schedule a consultation or second opinion today. Visit franciscanhealth.org/lung cancer care.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Hey, it's Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Now through Monday, it's our 50% off sale. Save 50% off all Smith Brothers, Lazy Boy, Bassett, plus we pay your sales tax, and we even give you more discounts for cash. That's every sofa, recliner, sectional, lift chair, you name it, it's on sale. Now through Monday, only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus with free delivery.
I know the next time you open up X, you're going to be so surprised.
Uh-oh.
Jamie Lee Curtis has announced that she's leaving the app. She posted, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Okay, so Halloween was 1978, right? So that was 46 years ago. I mean, she had some moderate amount of success in the 80s and early 90s. But other than Halloween, can you tell me the last 20 years, like, I'm not being facetious when I ask this, the last 20 years, other than the Halloween remakes, where she's now 90 years old and still fleeing Michael Myers, can you tell me a movie Jamie Lee Curtis has been in?
I don't even think it's 20 years. It might be 25 or 30. True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger. That was a good one.
Yes,
but
that was
not
the early
20
90s.
years.
Yes,
no.
thank you.
She was in Freaky Friday, I think, 20 years ago.
Oh, with Lindsay Lohan?
She was in who?
Yeah,
Okay.
Freaky Friday.
Okay, and how long? Let's see what year that was. Shall we let's Google. What are we saying? How many years has it been since Freaky Friday? What are we saying?
Oh, gosh.
I'm saying 20.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to say more than that. I'm going to go, it was like, let's say 25.
25, 20. I'll say, since I'll be the low man on totem pole here, I'll say 15. Freaky Friday. What were our numbers again?
25. Is what
25.
I said 20.
It was 21 years ago.
Ooh.
Kevin, you are the grand prize winner.
Look
So
at you.
so this is the self-absorption of these people. So you have a person who is famous for a movie. She then had parts in other famous movies, but she was certainly not, she's not Meryl Streep. This is not Julia Roberts. It's somebody who was
largely, I don't even know if you'd call her a bit player in Hollywood. She's clearly beloved and known for a role 46 years ago. And the self-absorption of these people, as though anyone would care, oh my gosh, Jamie Lee Curtis has left Twitter. How will I even continue to use this application?
I know you've missed her in the past couple days.
I didn't know she was on Twitter.
Exactly. But she said it's because of Elon Musk and his influence in this next administration. But here's something you need to consider.
Wait. Tell me. So she's mad that Elon Musk gave her a free platform to reach millions of people. I don't know how many followers she has, but millions of potentially, unlimited people. And she's mad that she was willing to use his platform for free. I mean, I don't know.
But now that he's involved in the Trump administration, that's where she draws the line.
Maybe she was paying the $8 a month or whatever that is to have the check. But the point is, like, you're willing to use the thing, but then once the guy who you're willing to use his thing gets to have a say over something, then you're out. And your response is going to be, I'm not going to use the thing anymore that I clearly found value in to reach all the people. Yeah, that'll show Elon Musk. I mean, he probably considered shutting the application down.
Right. Oh, no. What are we going to do? But think about that. So she's got all this concern about Musk having influence over Trump, right? Who currently has influence over the actual current president who's been making decisions for 3 years?
Oh, well, we don't know.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, okay. But here's so we saw this with Don Lemon where he quit and then he came back in the same day. Didn't he quit?
Yeah, he did. Well, okay, here's his big announcement. It's number 12, Kevin.
Hi, everyone. I have loved connecting with all of you on Twitter and then on X for all of these years. But it's time for me to leave the platform.
Sure it is.
I once believed that it was a place for honest debate and discussion, transparency and free speech. But I now feel it does not serve that purpose. In addition, starting this Friday, November 15th, X is implementing new terms of service, which among other things states that, quote, all disputes be brought exclusively in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Texas or state courts located in Tarrant County, Texas, end quote. The full terms of service can be found on my written statement or on the X website.
Nobody made it this
As the
far.
Washington Post recently reported on X's decision to
What are we doing?
He's like, well, as the Washington Post recently reported, this is me trying to,
when your farewell announcement involves
confirm
you
my opinion.
Trying to make the case that you're leaving because of what district court litigation has to be. Nobody made it. Okay, so he quit, but then he came back to make another announcement, and then he quit again. Okay, so here's what
so he makes this big announcement on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
That he's leaving. And then he tweeted, and then he replied to somebody's tweet. So totally leaving.
Remember is it in Dumb and Dumber where there's something and he's like walking away and then he looks back like after he's I mean, I can't remember the exact scene, but okay. So let me say this about almost any media platform. And I said this for years and years and years in our business. Any person could leave radio tomorrow and it wouldn't matter.
Right.
There was only one guy who
because it'll go on. Rush Limbaugh.
Rush Limbaugh was the only guy who, when he left radio, it ever mattered, and it changed the medium forever. You and I are number one. And if they blew us out tomorrow, would there be some people who would miss our show? Yes. I can assure you WIBC would continue to exist. Now, would it be number one? I don't know. But WIBC would continue to exist. There would be a show in this time slot. I have just under 16,000 followers on Twitter. I'm under no delusion that if I left, like some people might be, well, we miss him ripping on Holcomb or whatever. But the application itself would continue to thrive. Like no single person could leave the application and the application would not continue to. It's the ego, the just self-absorption of these people that they think anybody cares. Like anybody cares, that they're somehow bigger than the platform itself, that they're somehow bigger than the medium itself. No, the medium is the thing. The platform is the thing. The same way as for 80 years, the name WIBC has been the thing. And just the idea that these people are what they think of themselves and their own self-importance is just mind-blowing.
Had he not announced he was leaving, announced his departure, How many people would have realized, oh, gosh, I haven't seen a tweet from him in a while?
That's such a great point. So let's say Don Lemon had gone a week without tweeting. Would any person...
How long would it take you?
Yeah, would anybody have noticed, man, Don Lemon hasn't, tweeted for a while.
He's been really quiet. Where is he?
That.
What's going on?
Does he have a job?
What does he even do?
Right. You know who I would miss if he wasn't tweeting for a while?
Kurt Darling?
That's right.
Yeah, he's got the news up next on 93 WIBC.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
His next nomination, sticking at 54 degrees, cloudy downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. President-elect Donald Trump has nominated now former Florida Republican Matt Gaetz for U.S. Attorney General. Wednesday's news was followed closely by word that Gaetz was resigning from Congress. The resignation means that the House Ethics Committee investigation into Gaetz over sexual misconduct accusations will cease its investigation. If Democrats want political success, they need to regroup on the local and state level.
That's the perspective of Transportation Secretary and former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg. I'm Donnie Burgess.
We haven't always, those of us left of center, haven't always covered ourselves in glory when we've been given a free hand to get things done.
And getting things done is something the left has left behind, says Buttigieg. He tells the Harvard Kennedy School local political operations are more focused on accomplishing policy goals and aren't getting caught up in the wackiness in Washington. Some religious groups in Indiana want to see change in the state's Democrat Party. That's the perspective of Transportation Secretary.
I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
As a caregiver, managing your loved one's health can at times be overwhelming. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. In a moment, I'll share 3 tips to help you manage your loved one's medical care effectively.
Cardon and Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
Tip number 1, keep a list of all medications, dosages, and schedules to ensure your loved one is taking their medication correctly. Second, attend doctor's appointments with your loved one when you're able. And finally, stay organized by keeping forms, notes, and other important documents in one secure place. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access the library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Life Church. You know, we are loving Life Church. They've been so great to me and my family. They've had such an amazing impact on my life, on my wife's life, on my daughter's life. And this Sunday, if you're looking for a new church home or even a first church home, it's Thursday, by the way. That means Sunday's right around the corner. Life Church might be the place for you. They're warm, they're welcoming. Over the years, many WIBC listeners have found a home at Life Church. I know we're entering the season of giving thanks, and we are so thankful for Life Church. See it all for yourself. They make it super easy for you with campuses all across central Indiana, in Noblesville and Fishers, and Eagle Creek and Pendleton, plus awesome online services. Learn more about everything at lifechurchin.com.
Trust our family to take care of your family. Call us today for our family maintenance plan at 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatment at 317-559-PAIN.
The phone number, if you'd like to get involved, 317-684-8444 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Rob, did you do voicemails while I was gone? You didn't, did you?
Oh, you funny, Casey. That's
I got in this morning. It was like, your voicemails are 80% full.
Somebody,
I thought, uh-oh.
Might have been yesterday. Ethan's like, are we doing voicemails? I was like, that sounds like a lot of work.
Casey's not here, so the answer is no. Well, they're back today. And as I open up the Indy Star, I have to just go straight to the opinion section.
Oh, no.
Opinion. Pete Buttigieg is the Joe Rogan guest Democrats need in 2028. Right. Opinion. Mike Braun's new team gives appearance of impropriety. Interesting. But then when you go to the ones that are trending the most, opinion. Letters to the editor. Letters. Republicans won. Get over it.
Oh.
So maybe the Indy Star can look at their own metrics and realize that's what their readers want. That's one of the more popular articles you guys have going right now. So here's a phone call, and this one is about stuff that James Briggs has written about Micah in the Indy Star.
I'm listening to the Micah Beckwith, and I didn't realize so many people didn't like Micah Beckwith. I certainly like Micah Beckwith, and I love the fact that he speaks about his faith and professes his faith in Jesus Christ. That's why Briggs doesn't like him. That's why Starr doesn't like him. That's why the liberals don't like him. It's not about his policy. It's not about anything that he said. It's about the fact that he's a Christian.
So did we ever hear anything about those two having a conversation?
No, that disappeared. Though I did have a little back and forth with Briggs on social media this morning, because Briggs was all up in arms that Micah is supporting Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. And Mike had put something out about, hey, the Trump team, I support these guys. And Briggs put, I'd be very wary of attending a church led by a man cheerleading a powerful person who is under investigation for sexual misconduct. And I just told him, I just said, hey, dude, I go to church there. We love Micah. The church loves Micah. We love all the things Life Church has done for not just the people who go there, but the community at large. I'd love for you to come. You can sit with us. You can see it all for yourself. I don't think he's going to take me up. He responded. He did not take me up on it. And then I responded again. You have a standing invite. You can come sit by us at church. We'll buy you lunch afterwards.
Yeah.
Look, here's the thing, and this is what people need to realize about Micah. And I'm going to tell you, Casey, you know, like I do this where things happen and then sometimes it takes a while and then 6 months from now we're right here.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how this is going to go with Micah over the next year, because what was our theme earlier? The Republicans are ass. That's right. Just like Florida football on the Degenerates Next Door Sports Betting podcast, Florida is ass. The Republicans are ass. And so what is happening right now in the State House, and I know this is happening, is the lawmakers are beginning to maneuver to gut Micah's power. I know for a fact that they're looking at taking agriculture away from him, and I know for a fact that they're beginning to figure out how to prevent him from appointing the parliamentarian, which controls how the Senate operates. The Republican Party, because the Republicans are ass, instead of embracing who Micah Beckwith is and why he was elected. Oh, and they're also looking at potentially changing how the lieutenant governor is elected, taking it away from being a convention appointment to the voters at large, instead of saying, okay, Micah won.
Why did he win? What's the problem with our party and why they feel the Republicans feel somebody like, and by the way, Micah Beckwith helped the ticket this fall.
Instead of, okay, so they're not going to listen to the delegates.
No, they're looking at ways to try to take away Micah Beckwith's power, including take away areas and departments that he oversees, taking away his ability to run the Senate. And so I guess I'm hopeful that I'm wrong and there'll be a reverse course. But for the next 4 years, if the Republicans want to have that fight and they want it to play out here on WIBC, and you guys want to take away things from Micah Beckwith and just give him time to go do whatever he wants, I'm sure he'd probably welcome that. This is the problem, though. This is why people don't like the Republicans. This is why people don't trust the Republicans. This is why, other than when Donald Trump is there to save the Republicans, they fail because they say, wait a second, we like this guy. We like that he speaks the truth. We like that he's not politically correct. We like that he says what's on his mind. And you Republicans, from the moment he gets in there, are plotting how to take things away from him and take things away from us, the voters.
Okay, I did want to point out, though, this has nothing to do with Micah, but Aaron Howchin was selected as the Secretary of House Republican Conference.
Now, if we're going to introduce Aaron Howchin, we're going to introduce her the right way.
Professional office hopper.
Aaron Howchin, who quit on her constituents in the middle of the legislative session to go be a congressperson. So let's introduce her. What's she doing?
She is going to be the Secretary of the House Republican Conference, which means she will have a seat at leadership table.
Oh, great.
Right?
Well, see, this is my point about...
Because she's in the club.
Bad behavior, bad behavior gets rewarded. Aaron Howchin literally quit. She was a state senator, and in the middle of the legislative session, as things are being debated and voted on, she told her constituents, kiss my backside, I quit. And so her constituents had no representation during the legislative session, so they got screwed. And she didn't quit for a health problem or I'm taking care of a loved one or some horrible thing. She admitted, this is interfering in my run for Congress. But then we're to blame because she got rewarded by getting elected because she had the most money and she had all the establishment support. And so now, not only is she a congressperson, which is what she always wanted to be to begin with, she's now in some leadership position in the House of Representatives.
Well, I think you said it right there because that's what the establishment wanted.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got a phone call about John Thune, who is now going to be the big man on campus there, right?
Leader of the Senate, yes,
yeah,
that's correct.
Beating out Rick Scott and also John Cornyn. And here's a phone call about that.
Yes, Rob, I agree. We should know what the vote is in the Senate. I cannot believe they're sneaking behind doors and doing this. That is called communism. Come on, people. Vote, and if you're proud of your vote, vote out loud. You should do what's right and get the right guy in there.
Now, I saw while I was gone that you were encouraging people to reach out to Todd Young and
Yeah, we shut the phone lines down.
Jim
Clogged
Banks.
the voicemails. We clogged the Banks one in Washington, D.C., then we clogged the one in Fort. They don't care. That's my point. I've been telling you this about Jim Banks for 2 years.
I know.
Right?
I know.
People keep responding to me about this, and it's like, what do you want me to do about it? I told you 2 years ago what Jim Banks was. That's who he is. Jim Banks, we got into this yesterday. I had a long conversation with a very high-profile Republican politician, an elected person at the State House. And I will not name this person because you'll be surprised who speaks. Now that Uncle Fester's got friends in high places, everybody wants to be Uncle Fester's friend now. So, and I think they know they'll be seeing me a lot next year. But I had a long conversation about Banks the other day with a high-profile elected Republican. And what they told me is something I already knew, but this is somebody who's in the State House saying this. And they said Jim Banks had been plotting to be a senator before the moment he was ever even a U.S. rep. And a guy like Jim Banks is always planning the next thing because just like Todd Young, they've wanted to be in politics since they were old enough to tie their shoes. They will tell you whatever you want to hear in order to get elected. But any guy who would vote for Kevin McCarthy 15 times, why would anyone be surprised that he supported John Thune? Jim Banks will do whatever will elevate Jim Banks. And now that Banks is in there and you can't un-in there him, he's going to plot a course up the ladder just like Young did. And the fact that Young and Eric Holcomb and the state party endorsed Jim Banks and they went to all that effort
Remember, they destroyed Mitch Daniels before they kicked Rust off the ballot. That's who this guy is. He's an establishment swamp creature. He says the right things, but when the push comes to shove, he's a total reliable Republican vote, and so he voted for John Thune. It's so predictable.
Thune says that Republicans are, quote, united behind Donald Trump.
I guess we'll find
his
out.
His policies and his agenda. All right, well, here's one more phone call, this regarding Todd Young.
Just wanting to let you know, yesterday at the Veterans Day ceremony downtown, I confronted your best friend, Todd Young, and said, hey, why don't you support Rick Scott? And soon as I said, here came his two staffers and saying, oh, well, please talk to us. And then Todd kind of turned his back on me, and I said, hey, wait a minute. I'm paying your salary. You need to listen to me. And I said, Rob Kendall said, you suck. Just wanted to let you know that. Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, buddy, at least he didn't move aggressively towards you with an armed sheriff's deputy behind him, which is what happened when I saw him last. That's great. I love that. We should start doing that. If you see Todd Young, if you see the Duke of Spendenberg out in public, make sure you say at some point in your conversation, and Rob Kendall says you suck.
Hammer's going to join us next. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. $182,000.
Say what?
Yeah, $182,000. According to CBS News, Rob, the average American loses out on an average of $182,000 in Social Security income, and it's because they fought for their benefits at the wrong time.
Learn how you could avoid this with a free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy.
Hey, it's Kendall and Casey, and you know what? We trust Bill to help us with planning for our retirements, and you can too.
This free analysis could help you get the most income from Social Security while considering the impact of your spousal benefits, taxes, IRA, and 401k withdrawals, and Medicare premiums.
If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis by calling 317-932-9912.
Don't lose $182,000 in Social Security income that's rightfully yours.
Call 317-932-9912. That number again, 317-932-9912.
Looking for a great place to go for car care?
Hi, this is Lonnie Hinkle from Jiffy Lube, and I'd like to share the top 5 reasons that every Hoosier should trust Jiffy Lube to help keep their car running safe and well. Number 5, our computer system holds the maintenance data for every make and model. We know exactly what your car needs and when it needs to be done. Number 4, Jiffy Lube's training system is in the Training Magazine Hall of Fame. Along with companies like Ritz-Carlton, Starbucks, and Nordstrom's, our team does the job right. Number 3, you never need an appointment. We are ready to serve you whenever it works best for you, so come on in and see us. Number 2, Jiffy Lube accepts competitor coupons so you can get our great service at the desperate price of our competitors. And number 1, Jiffy Lube is a one-stop maintenance shop, and we make it easy for you to take great care of your car. Avoid the repair shop by getting your maintenance done at Jiffy Lube. And we now offer brakes, tires, tune-ups, and minor repairs at most stores.
So head to Jiffy Lube. There's really no reason to take your car anywhere else.
Ooh, we got a question. Brian W. asks, it's the holiday season and I'm looking for deals. Is Xfinity having a Black Friday sale?
Well, Brian, our best deals of the year are here. Get iPhone 16 Pro on us. Just ask us how. Plus, you can also get fast, reliable Xfinity Internet with a line of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited for a great low price.
So don't wait. Bring home a new iPhone 16 Pro built for Apple Intelligence.
And connect to reliable 5G and Wi-Fi speeds up to a gig on Xfinity Mobile.
That's a big deal.
More like a gig deal.
Now through December 3rd, ask how to get the new iPhone 16 Pro on us with an unlimited Plus line. Plus, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and an unlimited mobile line together for only $35 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Go to Xfinity.com/Black Friday sale to learn more. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing or auto pays to your bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. Gig speeds available via hotspots to Xfinity Mobile customers only. Reduced speeds after use and monthly data included with your data option. Actual internet speeds and data thresholds may vary.
Do you hear that? These are the sounds of our jeweler's workshop at Shane Company, where they're working their magic to bring beautiful, fine jewelry gifts to life. At Shane Company, we love jewelry as much as you do, and we know what it takes to create something special. No matter your budget, we craft our jewelry with expert care to be passed down for generations. With jewelry craftsmen in every store and an unmatched free lifetime warranty, we're here to make sure your jewelry always shines bright. Stop by and shop online at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
A true partner in your health dedicates time to understanding your needs. At CenterWell Senior Primary Care, doctors make one-on-one time with you a priority, so you can get all your questions answered and feel more confident in your health care. See how it feels to have a team of senior care experts working together to help you feel your best. CenterWell, it's about time. Schedule a tour today at meetcenterwell.com. That's meetcenterwell.com.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Nobody likes a cold shower. LD Smith has hot deals on water heaters. Save up to $300 on a new water heater install.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
From the #1 rated Hammer and Nigel program, Jason Hammer is in the studio. I thought about you guys because the college football playoff projections came out.
Yes.
And they had Notre Dame and Tennessee playing each other in Tennessee. And I thought, oh, boy, here we go.
Yeah,
we
I can't
going?
get too excited yet because there's
It
a
could
very
change.
good chance Tennessee takes an L this weekend, right? They're at Georgia, just a tough place to play. But if you want our picks on that game, you can go to the Degenerates Next Door podcast.
I'd be very excited about the Notre Dame-Tennessee game because the over-under might be 9.
Right. Two great defenses and two offenses that not very good.
Yeah, but the Degenerates Next Door, the college football podcast, is already out. Plenty of big plays, including Game of the Week, which is Tennessee and Georgia.
Myself, you, and our pro handicapper, David Stefanoff of Fall and Never Fade, we all have picks on that game, and they're all different picks, but there's a way we could all win at the same time.
Did you go fanboy in your predictions?
For what?
You know, for
who would I fanboy for?
No, if anything, Rob bets against his teams because it feels like it gives him some sort of gratification after the game one way or the other.
Yeah.
Like that's your Chicago Bears strategy,
Yeah,
right?
you can't lose. Either way, either I win money or my team wins. And speaking of which, we both have – I'm feeling pretty good about this week. LOL. I'm LOLing this because I'm being sarcastic. We both had the same play on the Colts game coming up on the podcast this week.
Right. And we're about 50-50 this year on games where we've had the same. We started off like 3-0, and then we hit a little skid there. But we have the same play. And that podcast drops at about 1 o'clock this afternoon.
So the Colts are impossible to bet. Now, I've gotten 3 in a row right, knock on wood, on the Colts, but I missed like the first 3 because we do Kat's show on Friday. So I've taken I do the segment, so I'll take the Colts bet. But they're so unpredictable that they're impossible to bet.
Las Vegas had that line at Jets -3.5 for the beginning portion of this week. And then they found out Anthony Richardson was coming back, and it went up to 4.
Yeah. It's a lot of points, but wow, Richardson is so bad that...
But it's not like this is Aaron Rodgers of like 15 years ago.
It's true. Is Aaron Rodgers even trying anymore?
That's a good question. I don't know. This is a bad game. Whoever pulled this game from prime time, that person needs a beer. Thank God for not subjecting America to this game on Sunday night.
Okay, and on the Degenerates Next Door podcast today, and Casey and I are going to talk about this later, I'm going to have a play on this Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight.
Yeah.
We talked about this yesterday, and we can dive into it in the podcast later if you want. I think Tyson's going to take a dive.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I think it's
I think, if you look at the business structure of this, Jake Paul's got his whole career ahead of him as a marketer, as somebody that can market himself as doing fighting and boxing, UFC. He'll probably get into wrestling like his brother at some point. Mike Tyson, about 10 years ago, was bankrupt. Now he's built his money back up, but this is probably his last chance for a big payday.
Just getting a paycheck.
And if he gets beat, it's going to be like, well, you're 60 years old. What'd you expect? It's a win-win for everybody.
I cannot believe the magnitude, though, of this fight. You know who sent me a text this morning, and I was blown away, and she said I could say this. I get a text from Micah's wife, and she goes, what's Vegas saying about this Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight? And I responded, I was like, before I tell you what Vegas is saying,
what?
I am beyond intrigued that I got this message from you. And she goes, oh, I can't wait to watch this fight. I'm so excited about
Now,
this.
keep in mind what the rules are, because when we had Chris Lytle in studio, like UFC legend, like, lights out, one of the baddest dudes alive, he was breaking down the boxing match between these two, and he said, listen, legit boxing is a young man's game. It's a stamina game. But there are special rules in this match. The rounds are only 2 minutes long, not 3 minutes. Okay. The gloves, they're like 14s and not 12s. So they absorb more.
Yeah.
So, I think all of these things kind of factor in if you're going to put your hard-earned money on it.
But I said, if the pastor's wife and the incoming second lady of the state is intrigued by this, then I know there is mass interest in this fight.
State of Indiana, we have lost all of your Social Security money. We betted on Jake Paul and we lost. Hey, real quick before we hit a break here, yesterday was a big day because Donald Trump visited the White House to see Joe Biden. Right? And is it me or does Biden look happier than he's ever been?
Oh, no kidding. Without a doubt. Yeah.
He loves that Kamala got beat. So I tried to get Biden on the show yesterday.
Of course, yes.
They did not respond. But I got the next best thing. Yeah. Here to talk about that meeting he had with Donald Trump is AI Joe Biden.
Hey, Hammer and Kenny, thanks for taking my call. The meeting with Donald, Donald Duck was great. He changed my diaper and spoon-fed me applesauce.
Good.
And then we spent the day watching Kamala's husband make out with random nannies.
Oh.
Old Doug M. Hoff really was giving those nannies the tongue. The kids call it a 5-second Frencher. And then he said he needed to see Dr. Jill in his office for about 35 minutes. The weird thing is he does not have an office, and she wasn't wearing pants. Well, I've got some kids to go sniff. AI Biden out.
Very fortunate to have AI Biden call into the show yesterday.
I love how he's using a landline, by the way.
Yes. Actually, that was a rotary, I believe Joe Biden was on.
Could Joe Biden operate a cellular telephone? Like if you handed him a phone right now and said, I want to see you make a phone call, send a text message, and operate your Twitter account, could he do any of those three things?
No.
No.
Could he unlock the phone?
That's what I was going to say.
No.
Only if it's face recognition and somebody set it up for him.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think he would have to put like big Harry Carey readers on to see the numbers. And then he would probably hit it and just kept waiting for it to ring, even though he never hit the green button, to make the call. There's no way.
What's coming up this afternoon?
You are going to go off the rails
That's
with
right.
us.
Yeah.
Our pal Dan Shaksevsky of Outkick will join us. If you haven't been following the San Jose State volleyball story, where they've got a dude playing women's volleyball going full Gaylord Fokker on these chicks, it's a crazy story, and he's going to break it down.
Thanks, Hammer. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
It's a bully that will not let up until you do something about it. And the worst part is that the bullying happens when you're at your most vulnerable. You might as well have your hands tied behind your back while that bully puts one hand over your mouth and pinches your nose with the other. He'll let up, let you catch your breath, and then he'll do it again. Sleep apnea is a bully. Not long ago, we heard our friend John tell you about how his bully was stopping his breathing in his sleep over 145 times an hour. Think about what that can do to your body's organs. It's no wonder that the snowball effects of long-term obstructive sleep apnea are heart disease, stroke, even depression and anxiety. But this problem is solvable, and we have solutions, and you'll be surprised at how simple they are.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. It's time to put that bully in his place. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and believe it or not, the holidays are almost here.
I know you really don't want to do it, but your carpets, floors, and furniture are screaming for a good cleaning. Your carpets are the biggest filter in your home, and they're loaded with deeply embedded dirt, dander, and allergens, not to mention pet stains and some of your stains, too. Here's a thought. Get rid of all that stuff. Right now, get 3 rooms zero resified starting at just $129 and $75 off air duct cleaning, too. That's a $40 savings on carpet cleaning. The game changer is the patented ZR water that uses no soap, leaves no residue, and there are no harsh chemicals because they just aren't needed to get things really clean. That's why Zero Res is my go-to carpet cleaning company, because I know that there's nobody better. I just love these folks. Just call them, mention WIBC, get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at $129, plus you get $75 off air duct cleaning too. Call 317-388-5141. Book things online at ZeroResIndy.com. That's ZeroResIndy.com.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Coming up in 2 minutes, this big event is staying put in Indianapolis, plus why Gary police fired their guns on Wednesday and who they ended up shooting. And Roger Penske makes another big purchase. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recycler Studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
Still a world leader for a few more weeks. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News, and President Biden has left the White House on a trip to South America today for one of his final summits and a meeting with China's president.
The president will meet with counterparts from Asian and Pacific countries at an economic summit in Lima, Peru, as allies prepare for a new U.S. administration.
The best traditions of American foreign policy have always had a bipartisan element.
White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan says that includes managing competition with China. President Biden will meet face-to-face with China's President Xi on Saturday. The president is also scheduled to meet with the leaders of South Korea and Japan before traveling to Brazil for his final G20 summit. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
There is mixed reaction to President-elect Trump planning to nominate Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. The now former Florida House Republican has already resigned that seat, making it easier to hold a special election to replace him and stopping a House ethics investigation. The report on him out soon as tomorrow.
Republican Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota is one of those not committing to approving Gaetz.
We always allow the president to have the benefit of the doubt, but we still have to do our role in terms of due diligence.
Some Democrats believe Gaetz is unqualified for the job, while those backing the pick say he can help reform the Department of Justice. President-elect Trump has floated using what's called recess appointments for his nominees, which allows nominees to be seated without Senate approval.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz. We don't know how big the majority will be at this point, but enough races are now called to say Republicans will keep control of the House, in addition to flipping the Senate and the White House. Ford Motor Company is hit with the second largest civil penalty ever from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, up to $165 million for moving too slowly on a recall and failing to give accurate recall information. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A few more years. It's cloudy, some showers on radar. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. The NFL Scouting Combine is staying put in Indianapolis. The NFL's premier event to gauge prospective college players will stay in Indy through at least 2026. That's adding another year to the contract. It's been in the Circle City since it first started back in 1987. It happened in Gary, an undercover operation involving recent robberies from online transactions. Police Chief Derek Cannon says Shahad Richmond came at undercover cops with a machete, so one of the cops shot and killed Richmond.
The undercover officer, a 32-year veteran, suffered non-life-threatening injuries and was treated at an area hospital as well.
Richmond's family are outraged, saying that they believe police went after the wrong person. A man found guilty this month for killing his grandmother was sentenced to 85 years. Harrison Silcox.
Anthony Castleman was found hiding out in Georgia after he was named a suspect, and a warrant was issued for his arrest over the murder of his grandmother, Bernice Eubank, who was found dead in Markle last year. The Huntington County Sheriff's Office says he was moved back to Indiana after the arrest and was found guilty on the 1st of November. The details of Castleman's sentence include 65 years for the murder of his grandmother, plus another 20 for being a habitual offender. Castleman says he didn't do it. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Former South Bend mayor and soon-to-be ex-Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says Democrats need to get back to their roots on the local level if they're ever to get any kind of traction again.
Moments like this, our salvation really will come from the local and the state levels.
He says Democrats should study how local communities operate in the name of just getting things done. Penske Entertainment has purchased the Grand Prix of Long Beach. The iconic motor racing event was bought by Roger Penske for an undisclosed amount, adding yet another major auto racing event to his business empire. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard air dealer in Indianapolis.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, November 14th. It is 5 minutes after 11 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. We're just going to call this segment Three Ladies and the Sexiest Man. So Donald Trump is tapping Florida Senator Marco Rubio to be his next Secretary of State, which will create a vacancy. And it is now being reported that the president's daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, is being considered to fill Marco Rubio's spot in the Senate.
Yeah, I don't like that.
You don't?
Well, okay. So what is her, what? I have a real issue with dynasties, right? Because when does that ever work out well for society, whether it's the Kennedys or the Bushes or to some extent the Clintons tried to be that, although Hillary could never seem to win. And so she just became the head of the Republican, the RNC, right?
Right.
She's the head of. And
co-chair.
Yeah, co-chair. Yeah, you don't want to give her full credit, right?
You know.
But what qualification do you have to be a U.S. senator that you would leapfrog other you're married? I mean, in her case, she's married to a Trump. It's not even like she built her own, super fortune on her own. And I just think that would be, when we start appointing people based on their last names, we become the thing, right? The thing that we don't like.
And isn't that exactly what she came up against when Donald Trump picked her to be head of the RNC? A lot of people gave him a hard time about that.
But at least with that, okay, he's running. He's the top of the ticket. You need to know how to work with him. You need to know how to, figure out how to campaign the way he needs to campaign. So at least with that, I mean, as the head of a political party, you choose whether to engage in that political party or not. You choose whether to participate in that political party or not. And so, you have the right to do that. If you're making her a U.S. senator, you're making her one of the most 100 powerful people in the country. It's a huge step. And other than like being married to a Trump and helping run her father-in-law's campaigns, what are her qualifications?
What other things can she do? And you're right, Donald Trump, he's like the dynasty killer because he ended the Cheneys, the Bushes, Romney. He's the kind of the Clintons.
Here's the other thing. And we went through this in Indiana several years ago. So Dan Coates was a U.S. senator from Indiana in the 1990s. When Evan Bayh decided he was going to run for Senate in 1999, I think it was, Dan Coates saw the tea leaves and said, "See ya, I'm out of here," because he knew Evan Bayh was probably going to. Indiana was a different state back then. The political landscape was different. It was much more of a swing state, and he said, "See ya, I'm out." Dan Coates then moved to North Carolina. There's a very famous video of him saying, "I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to retire here. This is my forever home." Then Evan Bayh decided in whatever year that was that 2010, he was not going to run for re-election. And wouldn't you know it, all of a sudden Dan Coates can't wait to be back in Indiana, and Indiana's my home state again, and I can't wait to be a senator from Indiana again. And he wins a primary of like 9 different people in it and becomes a senator again. Well, you can't say I can't wait to have my forever home in North Carolina and then, I can't wait to be a Hoosier again. Lara Trump was considered for a vacated Senate seat in North Carolina just a couple of years ago. Now, Ted Budd, who's now the senator there, I believe he was a U.S. rep at the time, ended up becoming the senator from North Carolina. But just 2 or 3 years ago, you were considered for a seat in North Carolina. Now you're so Florida that you want to be considered for a Senate seat in Florida. I don't like that at all.
Okay, so let's see. She's 42 years old. She's a mother of 2. She is the president-elect daughter-in-law. But with what she did with the RNC, I think that does prove that she's up to a challenge, right? The learning curve was there. She proved she was up to the task. Can she do it? Well, here she is announcing that she is ready to become a senator in Florida.
To be able to serve in this role has really been the honor of a lifetime. Likewise, if I am able to serve, I would love to serve the people of Florida. This is my home state now and has been for 3 years. This is where Eric and I live. And truly to have that opportunity, I think would be incredible. No one knows better than I do the America First agenda or the goals of Donald Trump in the coming 4 years. So if I am asked, I would love to consider it, but I have yet to have a conversation with Governor DeSantis, so we will have to see.
Okay, so she totally killed it when she was co-chair of the RNC, and you'd hate to see her leave that position.
Wait. What do you mean she totally killed it? So
Donald Trump won the election.
So you think Donald Trump would not have won if she had not been the co-chair?
One of the first things that she did was go out and hire lawyers all over the country if it were contested.
But it wasn't contested. So what good did that do? I mean, what did she do? What did she do that you say? Because let's face it, the Republicans, what's our saying of the day? The Republicans
are ass.
The Republicans are ass. The Republican brand is ass. So you look at outside of Trump, they failed in Arizona, they failed in Nevada, they failed in Michigan, they failed in Wisconsin. The only swing state they won was Pennsylvania. That's it. So if she's so great, 4 out of 5, because I don't give them any credit.
And that was really the work of Scott Presler in Pennsylvania.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
All right. So you look at, because I don't give her any credit in West Virginia or Montana or Ohio, because those are super Republican states. And even those candidates underperformed Trump. So if her and the House is razor thin, they're going to keep it, but barely. So what did she really do? Trump got elected, but is our theory that if she hadn't been the head of the party, Trump wouldn't have got it? Get out of here. She didn't do anything. They failed way more than they succeeded in those swing states.
Well, she also said that she hasn't heard from Ron DeSantis. And, you know, Ron DeSantis, he doesn't mince words. He's very direct. And
Yeah. I'd appoint me if I were DeSantis.
He'll tell you why he likes her if that's who he ends up picking. Okay, so let's talk about Tulsi Gabbard for just a second. She was on a terror watch list. Now she's going to be director of national intelligence, right? So Donald Trump spent a lot of his campaign promising to take vengeance on his enemies. So is she the one who's going to do it? You know, the intelligence community has been bogged down by a lot of political games and inefficiencies. So is Tulsi Gabbard, who's not a Washington insider, the one to do that job?
Well, they actively worked against Trump in his first administration. I mean, that's very clear. Obama was spying on Donald Trump. That's been proven, and then a host of other things. And I think what you're seeing with Trump here is he is appointing people who will be loyal to him, which is good given the shenanigans that have taken place against him. And clearly, in terms of not just our government spying on Donald Trump, but our government spying on average, regular Americans, there's a clear problem with the weaponization of law enforcement in this country against people based on political leanings. And so Tulsi Gabbard is weirdly the perfect person. She was a Democrat. I guess she's now a Republican, but I don't think anybody sees her as some staunch conservative stalwart. I think they see her more in the vein of a libertarian, moderate Republican who cares deeply about the abuse of power of the government against regular people.
Okay, so she's definitely an independent voice. She's far from being a political elite, right? I mean, she left office, became a contributor on Fox for a while. She's got this military background, and she also questions the status quo a lot. So probably a pretty decent choice.
Yeah, well, let's go back to Florida for a second, though. If you were Ron DeSantis, wouldn't you appoint yourself?
To be senator?
He's the most
right, because he's term limited as well.
Term limited. He's the most popular Republican in the state. And he would say, look, I think nobody gets Trump and the Trump agenda more than me. I'm the most popular Republican in the state. If I ran for this in an election, everybody recognizes I'd win in a landslide. Let's just cut the crap. I'm going to do this and appoint myself. It would be the most honest, direct thing somebody could do because he would win that seat.
How do you think that would be perceived by the people in Florida?
Well, one of the things I think you're going to get an idea of is if Ron DeSantis. So let's see what Rubio was elected in 22. So that would still, it's 4 years left still. So I was going to say you could appoint him. I don't know how Florida's election laws work. I don't know if you get to serve the whole term or if that's you serve it until a time and then there's a special election. But if you were DeSantis and you want the position and you're term limited and you don't want to wait 4 years, then screw it.
Just make it you.
Just do it.
Yeah.
People would probably like it.
Especially if you were direct and you told him why. And he is.
Just be honest with people. I think people would appreciate the honesty of somebody saying, I am interested in this position. I am the most popular Republican in the state. I think I've taken being governor as far as I can possibly take it, unless maybe there's some big thing left he still wants to accomplish. I don't know. But if I were him and I wanted the position,
president. I mean, he tried that, right?
It's like in Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield, where they're doing the dirt shoveling, and he goes, "I hereby dedicate this building to myself." Right? I paid for it, so I'm dedicating it to me.
Okay, so another lady that's in the news right now, Melania Trump, it's being reported that she plans to split her time between New York, Florida, and D.C. during Trump's second term in office. This is so that she can be a hands-on mother to Barron. And
hands-on mother? He's
18,
20 years
right?
old.
He's off to college,
What?
right?
I feel like he's a newborn.
But isn't this exactly what we heard? Right. Hands-on. She's not changing diapers anymore.
Doesn't he go to some the Wharton School, one of the most prestigious colleges in the country? What is it? Being a hands-on mother.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want to do it, and that's fine.
This is exactly what she said last time, though, right?
Well, she doesn't want to do it. She's not comfortable in the position, and that's okay. Like, think about what initiative has the First Lady had in the more recent past that you would go, oh my gosh, the country changed dramatically, because it's usually some token thing that they're interested in that becomes a thing to appease them, what, Laura Bush was some reading.
That's what I was going to say. Laura Bush was literacy.
Michelle Obama was the vending machines.
The food, school lunch food.
I don't know what it's so relevant. I don't know what Melania Trump did, and I don't know what Joe Biden did.
Yeah,
it's complete crap. If they don't want to do it, just say it. I don't want to do it. I don't have any interest in this. I didn't really want to be first lady. I'll help out where I can, and I'm going to go live my life. Great, good for you.
What was the first lady who had the biggest platform?
Well, Hillary.
What's the first one that comes to mind?
Hillary tried with
the health care,
and it failed.
Yeah.
Nancy Reagan was saying no to drugs.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what Barbara Bush was, but they're not. I was going to say they're not real people. They're clearly real human beings, but they're not elected people. Like, they give them token things to appease them, to make them feel important and distract them. And I would say great on her that she's kind of saying without saying it, I don't want to do this. I didn't want to do it the last time. If I am needed, I will certainly give of my time and energy to help my country. But other than that, I'm going to go live my life.
So here's a big reason why maybe she's saying this is she came out and said she's one of the most bullied people in the world.
Well, it's all the things that people say, that I'm not happy in the White House, that I don't even live there, and that I'm miserable in my marriage, that I'm out of touch. There are so many things. I don't know where to start. And sometimes, people would not say to you face to face, but they're hiding behind the keyboards, and that's the danger.
So she, of course,
music was the best.
Yeah, she rejected Jill Biden's invitation for that official White House meeting. And you see all these people, oh my gosh, this is tradition. And why did she break tradition? She's already been First Lady once. It's not like she needed to go in there and get a lesson on how to do it.
If you don't want to do something, she's at the phase of her life where she doesn't have to do it. I'm sure she'll go to all the things she'd be good at, the balls and the state dinners and all the things where she needs to be there with the president. But other than that, great on her. We need more people to be honest in our government. And she's telling you, this is his thing.
I don't want to do it.
It's his thing. He wanted to do it. I support him. Good for him. I didn't want a part of it last time. I'm not doing it again. My kids are grown. My kid is grown. I'm out the door. See ya.
All right. So the sexiest man and the Department of Government Efficiency.
This guy's not even attractive. How is he the sexiest man alive?
It's coming up from 93 WIBC.
Galloway for a three. Renewed. Throws it up and in, and a foul. For a three, yes. And a Baco.
Mike Goodson has an exciting roster of veterans, transfers, and freshmen. The pre-conference season continues against the South Carolina Gamecocks Saturday.
Throws it up. Got it!
John Herrick has the pregame at 2. Don Fisher with the tip at 3 on your home for IU basketball, 93 WIBC.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
If you drink vodka and haven't tried Barkeep vodka yet, you're missing out. It's the cleanest vodka ever, smoothest vodka I've ever had, and a much better value than almost all the other top shelf vodkas.
Switch to Barkeep because it's made in Indy and distilled with corn from Indiana farmers. These guys are all about local, and they truly have made a better product. We've had it. It's awesome. Pick up a bottle at Indiana grocery stores, liquor stores, or visit barkeepvodka.com for a list of locations.
Royal Spa hot tubs are simply better. Come into any of our locations and make the salesperson prove the superiority of the Royal Spa product.
Royal Spa. People magazine has been granting the Sexiest Man Alive title every year since 1985 when Mel Gibson was the first recipient.
This is back when he kind of looked like a woman, right? He had the woman haircut. This was like...
What, the mullet?
Yeah. I mean, that was a strong... I mean, there's a famous, like, photo of him smoking a cigarette, and the meme is always something related to, like, your mom at Christmas in 1985 or whatever.
Wouldn't it be interesting to have Hollywood put him on the cover now?
They
wouldn't do that.
Well, no, and he's also, I think he's aged out of that, perhaps.
Yeah.
Who won this year, Casey?
John Krasinski.
Jim from The Office.
Jim from The Office.
Did he look into the camera when they announced him as the winner and give a wacky smile?
In the confessional? So you don't think he's deserving of this?
Well, I just don't think, like, he's, I mean... Look, I get that he's not, because he's what? Who is the guy he plays now? He's a famous character on, like, Prime.
Jack Ryan?
Jack Ryan, thank you. And I get that he's kind of, like, bulked up a little bit.
Jim, Jack, John, it's a J name.
Here's the problem, though, because I tried to watch that on the Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
I don't know how I have that, but I have that.
Your wife did that for you.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
But every time I see him, I just can't. I expect him to look into the camera and
be Jim Halpert
and give some smile. Like it's like George Costanza or Kramer. I just can't. Kev, yes.
Yeah, he's kind of like the same character and everything.
That's my point. Every time I see that guy, I see Jim Halpert, and I just don't. I mean,
you can't take him serious.
Well,
in the
and
Jack
I just
Ryan
picture
role.
him as, you know, I picture Sexiest Man Alive. I don't know, as like Antonio Banderas, right? You know, or I don't know. I don't know who any of these Hollywood muckety-mucks are these days.
Well, that's the thing that I was wondering, like, how did they come up with him? And apparently they consult focus groups and they ask other female celebrities who they think is the sexiest man alive.
Focus groups. Like they show photos of Jim from The Office and they're like, where's this guy score?
Yeah. They ask other female celebrities, who do you think it is?
You know, I always thought this about Jim from The Office because he obviously, that's how he became a thing. I think about anybody could have played him and it would have been fine. I never thought he was funny. Like, obviously, Steve Carell was...
That's what he did. He played like the everyman.
But he got to be elevated off a thing that anybody could have done. Like, not... Only one guy could have been Michael Scott. Only one guy could have been Dwight Schrute. Rainn Wilson was brilliant as Dwight Schrute. That was the driver of the show and the wacky side. It was very Seinfeld-esque in the sense of like the core characters were so good, and then you had these little, you know, the Kevin or the Phyllis or
Dwight.
But I'm saying that's a core character. Like that's a Kramer, Frasier, or a Kramer, Costanza type of character. But then the wacky side characters like Seinfeld had Newman and Putty and like all the Oscar was for The Office. I just thought Jim
was understated comedy.
The worst character on Seinfeld was Seinfeld. The least funny character on Seinfeld.
He was the everyman.
And I thought the most boring, worthless character on The Office was Jim Halpert.
Oh, no.
Well, I mean, but was there anything you had said, oh my gosh, only John Krasinski could have pulled off Jim Halpert? Is there any moment where you're like, nobody else could have played that character and been great? Just find a boring late 20s white guy and look into the camera funny. There was very little acting.
And he'll be good.
Right?
Sure. Okay, so People Magazine says that when they elect a sexiest man alive, they also consider somebody that will be comfortable owning the title. Like you have to be confident in yourself to walk around knowing that you're the sexiest man alive.
So what, John Krasinski oozes sexiness? Is that their...
Or confidence in their estimation. Somebody who's willing to participate in the accompanying interviews and photo shoot and
Does
the
he
title,
do that?
everything that goes along with it.
He's kind of shy, isn't he?
Do they ask the celebrities if they feel comfortable with it?
I don't know.
Did they ask him and he just shrugged his shoulders?
Are you good
he looked
with
into the
this?
camera.
Yeah, just sure.
Well, he's clearly used to the spotlight. Isn't he married to Emily Blunt?
He's married to someone famous. And and by the way, by all accounts, John Krasinski is a super nice guy. I think he does a lot of charity related stuff. He's a very, very nice human being. I'm in no way trying to besmirch him as a human being. He's in all his interviews. He is, and to his credit, he has largely just completely stayed out of politics. I think he has done some minor political things, but he's not a grenade thrower. He seems very.
Maybe that's what they think makes him sexy.
Well, I don't.
He's
I don't
down
know.
to earth.
I don't know. I mean, I just don't see it.
I was surprised that it wasn't somebody like a Timothy Chalamet or a Jeremy Allen White. Exactly. Some of these new younger Hollywood actors that people like you and I don't really know.
Well, you must know him. You just said him. Him.
Well, Timothy Chalamet showed up to his own lookalike contest, which was...
And you think he's very attractive?
Well, I don't, but I think a lot of younger women do. And that's the thing. That I was kind of surprised. What has John Krasinski done lately?
Right. That was my question. So anyway, I didn't mean to get on a whole tangent on this. I found that surprising. But is that even a thing anymore? I know it used to be a big deal. I know it used to be that was a huge deal. Is that with the disconnect from regular people in Hollywood and the really backlash between regular people in Hollywood, does it even matter anymore? Are we just killing time on a radio show?
I think we're just killing time. Let's talk about the Department of Government Efficiency coming up. It's 93 WIBC.
Big number coming up here, Casey. You ready?
I'm ready. What is it?
$182,000.
Okay, what about it?
According to CBS News, the average American loses out on an average of $182,000 in Social Security income, and it's because they filed for their benefits at the wrong time.
Learn how you could avoid this with the free Social Security analysis. It's from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy.
We trust Bill to help us with planning for our retirement, and you can too.
This free analysis could help you get the most income from Social Security while considering the impact of your spousal benefits, taxes, IRA, and 401k withdrawals, and Medicare premiums.
If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis by calling 317-932-9912.
Don't lose $182,000 in Social Security income. That could be rightfully yours. Call 317-932-9912. That number is 317-932-9912.
Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy.
Fall in Indy, and if you hate the paint, do what Judy did. She called Rhino Shield.
After having the house painted with kind of usual house paint, I was seeing cracks appearing about every 3 years and just wasn't very satisfied with that.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating specifically formulated for our unique climate.
I can't speak highly enough about the Rhino Shield crew. They also were great at working with me to get the exact right color because I was very particular.
Now get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield is partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer no payments until 2026 for qualified buyers.
I would not hesitate to call Rhino Shield and recommend Rhino Shield to my friends and neighbors and family.
Here's Rhino Shield Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Who he wants as AG. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. President-elect Trump is turning a lot of heads and wanting former Congressman Matt Gaetz to be the nation's Attorney General. Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
A Senate confirmation for Congressman Matt Gaetz could be an uphill climb to get the necessary 50 votes to become Attorney General. Republican Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota is one of those not committing to approving Gaetz.
We always allow the president to have the benefit of the doubt, but we still have to do our role in terms of due diligence.
Some Democrats believe Gaetz is unqualified for the job, while those backing the pick say he can help reform the Department of Justice. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
House Speaker Mike Johnson will retain the gavel for another 2 years. Johnson was running unopposed and won the speakership nomination on a voice vote. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety,
anti-anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-9336. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-9336. 800-444-9336.
America respects our first responders and veterans, the brave whose business is taking action when calamity strikes. It's dangerous work, often surrounded by sirens, shouting, even gunfire, so hearing loss is probable. First responders can turn to Relay Indiana. If you have trouble hearing on the telephone, visit RelayIndiana.com for voice recognition technology phones that allow the hearing impaired to have normal phone conversations. And there's loaned equipment for those who qualify. Get clarity back on the phone. Visit RelayIndiana.com.
Friendly reminder to change your filter. Head on over to our website at familyhvac.net for some of the best pricing on filters around.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC.
Okay, so I got some good news and I got some bad news.
Okay.
What do you want first? Well, I need to give you the bad news so the good news won't make sense.
Okay. What's the bad news?
Well, the bad news is Mike Braun released his transition team, and we were left off the list.
Oh. Did you think we were going to be on the
list?
list?
I didn't know. I didn't know if he was going to go ahead and give me the Sagamore before. I think he's got to technically wait to become
I think he's got to be
governor.
sworn in before he can start handing those out.
Oh, yeah. So it'll probably be January.
You don't want to get it from Holcomb, do you?
Well, that's true, right? Yeah. So we were left off the list. And then Micah has a transition team, too, and we were left off that list as well.
That's good because they made him.
However, I can say on good authority, and she told me I could say this publicly, my dear friend Erin Sheridan, who is Micah's deputy chief of staff, is on the transition team.
Okay.
She has now stated that I can say this publicly. She is speaking on my behalf, so we have a voice on Micah's transition team, though we're not named on the team.
Are you okay with that? Someone speaking on your behalf?
It's fine. I don't want to have to do any actual work.
Oh, okay.
So it's like I'm on the transition. It's like our show.
Would you like type up some bullet points for her? These are my speaking points.
In a weird way, Micah's transition team is exactly like our show. You're doing all the work. I'm going to get to say what I want to say, and I don't have to worry about it. Aaron is doing all the work.
Okay.
I say what I want to. And let's face it.
Okay.
I can just call Micah if I have thoughts on how things are transitioning.
Really? I'll just text him.
Okay, so look, I'm going to lay this out for everybody at the State House, how this is going to work next year, okay? Right?
So they'll be happy to hear from you about
laying
this.
down. We have a relationship with the governor now, and so they already know this, but we'll just remind everybody, and we'll keep reminding everybody. I want two things out of the legislative session, okay? There's two little bitty, tiny,
just little
I don't
things.
need friendship. I don't need accolades. I don't need rewards. There's two little bitty, teeny tiny things that I want. And if you give me these two things, you're not going to hear a peep out of me. So it's really going to come down to how bad do the Republicans want me off their ass for the next 4 years? And that's going to be Mike Braun's property tax plan enacted with bills reset to 2021 levels and universal school choice. If those two things happen, I don't care what establishment clowns that I despise are on your transition team. I don't care who you're associating with that I loathe. If you give me those two little bitty, teeny, tiny things, we're going to have a very productive, fun working relationship. If you screw me on those two things, I will burn everything to the ground, and I will laugh as I do it. There. How about that?
Okay, so you said property tax reform and universal choice.
And I'm not talking about this Mickey Mouse screwing around the edges property tax reform they did 2 years ago, where I told them this was going to fail and was designed to fail. I'm talking about the Braun plan with the property tax resets to 2021 levels. Okay, that's the property tax reform. And if I get those two things, then I'm
And are you talking year one?
Yes.
Okay. Can I pick year two then?
Well, wait a second. Do you have something else you want added to year one? We can't get too far ahead of ourselves, right?
No, because it's property tax and then universal choice.
Yeah.
And I've got healthcare reform.
Yeah.
And gas tax slash. I'm gonna pull from Gretchen Whitmer. Fix the damn roads.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, but year one, is there something else you want?
Yeah, no, you got year one.
Yeah, okay, I get year one. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Then you can burn whatever bridges you want in year two. But I'm cautiously optimistic about a positive working relationship after year one.
Even though you're not on the transition team.
Well, I am on the transition team. Erin Sheridan is my official voice on Micah's transition team, and she speaks for me.
Uh-huh. Who is on the transition team? Is it do we like everybody? Well, are we concerned?
On bronze? Oh no, it's a bunch of my rowdy friends who would light me on fire if they could get away with it. But I don't care. Okay. I don't care. I'm giving everyone a chance to reset at the first. And look, here's the reality. I'm going to be over there a whole bunch. I don't know if I'm going to get like a parking pass or like some sort of honorary badge that lets me in. I don't know if there's going to be some ceremony for me, like if there'll be trumpets playing when I walk in or, red carpet rolled. I don't know if that's how it works. But
I don't think that's how it works.
The reality is we're going to be seeing a lot of each other next year. And you guys in the State House get to decide how this. There's two things I want. Just no better friend, no worse enemy, and then you guys can screw around with whatever else you want to screw around with. If you fix those two things, we'll all get along just fine.
Okay, it is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. You've been warned. I think you laid it out pretty clearly.
I did.
Clearly and specifically.
And Casey, I am but a person of my word. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I will do it. And I know you guys are going to pull so much crap next year, and you're going to do so many things that I don't like, and you're going to do so many things that piss me off going forward. But I just want these two little bitty, teeny tiny things.
Little tiny things. Mike Braun did say.
Yeah.
Property tax reform, number one.
That's right.
Number one on his list. So, okay. I don't know if we're going to get time to get to the full.
Sorry, I wasted all your time on that.
No, it's okay. We'll table it for tomorrow because it's still going to be around the Department of Government Efficiency.
Yeah.
With you're seeing a lot of people say, "Oh, it takes two people."
That's right.
That's not very efficient.
Not a real department.
Guess what? They're working for free.
That's right. It's not a real department.
They're not taking your money to do the job.
Not real. It's like just guys giving suggestions.
Right.
It's not
advisors.
Not an official thing. By the way, Ken says, Rob, you should run for office instead of trying to politic from a distance. You're pretty good at politics. You'll run for office. I'll vote for you. I already did that. I'm going out undefeated. I've already ran in one. What? How do you do any better than undefeated?
Right.
Plus, you would miss me so much.
I would miss you terribly, but who's not to say that I wouldn't go with you?
Casey's like, please run. Get out of here. Get away from me.
Oh, no. Okay, so let's talk about what happened with Michael Strahan, right?
Yeah.
And the whole national anthem stance.
So he's the Fox football guy, right? And they have a Fox morning show before the football games, and they were doing something in honor of veterans because it was the Sunday before Veterans Day. And they all stood up. It was either the national anthem, right?
It was during the national anthem. And rather than having his hand on his heart, he had them clasped down by his waist in, it's called the V, diamond hands.
He was standing.
And, if you've ever been on TV, you'll notice it is diamond hands. It's where they put their hands together in the shape of a diamond.
Okay. Now, but his dad was a member of the military, right?
Okay. So let's listen to what he has to say about what happened.
We had our national anthem. I didn't have my hand over my chest. Everyone thought he's protesting. He's making a statement, which is so far from the truth. I have nothing to protest. I have no statement to be made. The only statement that should be made and that I want to make is I love the military. I've always loved the military, and I will always love the military. I do so many programs to help veterans and soldiers. I grew up on a military base with a father who's a major in the Army. My brother, my sister, my cousins, they all served in the military. I'm a military brat. And so the fact of somebody saying that, I'm unpatriotic couldn't be any further from the truth.
I never thought this. I've never thought this
Were
was a big
people
deal.
just trying to create
Yes,
drama?
he's always seemed like a decent guy, and I don't know what his exact politics are, but he's always seemed like a decent guy, and he's standing. And look, if everybody's honest with themselves, you've probably stood for the national anthem before and didn't have your hand over. I think that was just garbage.
Hey, can we talk about the fight coming up?
Yeah! Tyson and Paul.
Yeah, I know. That's it's going to happen tomorrow night. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
It's starting to be fall in Indiana, the perfect time to tackle home projects you've been putting off before winter arrives. With Moss Roofing by your side, you don't have to do it alone. They're ready to assist with your roofing and siding needs, ensuring your home is safe and ready for the holidays. Let Moss Roofing, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com, give your home a serious glow-up with premium James Hardy siding, tough enough to face Indiana's wild weather and stylish enough to turn heads on your block. And the best part, their free inspections come with a 3D design preview so you could see your home's stunning makeover before the work begins. Contact Moss Roofing for a job done right every single time at Moss Roofing, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com, or call 317-747-3665. Moss Roofing, 317-747-3665. That's 747-3665. Or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com. And don't forget, tell them Tony Katz sent you.
We know that around the holidays, things don't always go as planned. That's why Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles, the best warranty around. So make memories this season in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Shop drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations. Every Hubler Q certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty and includes a 128-point vehicle inspection, plus a free Carfax history report. Choose from over 2,000 Chevys, Fords, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and many more. All makes and models. Certified luxury, even the hard-to-find ones. No matter where your plans take you, spread cheer all season long, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. Happy holidays, Indiana. Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations. Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
Choosing the right candidates for any office can be difficult.
My office has lots of drama.
My office has its ups and downs.
I share my office. But no matter what kind of office you have, one thing's for certain. If you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds the most qualified candidates for your roles fast, and you can invite your top choices to apply. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, for any kind of office,
I'm really going places in my office.
My office has everything you could ever want.
count on ZipRecruiter to find the right candidates for it. Try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. For the last 97 years, we've offered Central Indiana the best mattresses at the best price with free delivery and interest-free financing. Now through Monday, save up to $800 on Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and Nectar mattresses, plus Queen mattresses start at $399. The Back to Sleep sale is going on now through Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Oh, no. Stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Don't miss the Flying Toasters 20th anniversary celebration Saturday, November 16th at the Paramount Theater in Anderson with special guest 45 RPM. Tickets available at theflyingtoasters.com.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
I've been working real hard trying to get my hands clean. We'll drive that dusty road from Mondo to Angeline.
Casey, Friday night is nostalgia night in my house.
You're talking about the big fight that's coming up, aren't you?
I'm going to guess it'll be nostalgia night in your house as well.
I'm sure. Yes.
This is fascinating. So Friday night, one of the biggest sporting, this is pretty wild where we're at with sports. Let me say this. One of the biggest non-NFL sporting events in quite a while is going to take place where Mike Tyson is going to get back in the ring. I believe is he 58? I think he's 58 years old. That sounds
right.
And he is going to fight Jake Paul. Now, Jake Paul he was like a YouTuber.
Yeah.
He was, and then
a trash talker is what he is.
Well, and then he got into boxing, and he's actually pretty good. And so they are going to fight on Netflix on a Friday night. And it's kind of an indictment on the current status of boxing, because this is the most anticipated fight in boxing in a very long time.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. But here's the thing. Mike Tyson has that ulcer, and he's had quite a bit of flare-ups. I'm afraid for him. Like, one punch to the gut, and he's going to double down and be on the floor.
Well, one would guess if they let him get in the ring, there's some sort of medical professional has cleared him that might not happen, because that would be a huge disappointment to the viewing public at large. So Jake Paul, last I checked, was minus 220. So Jake Paul's a heavy favorite. That means you would have to bet $220 to win $100 on Jake Paul. And I was talking with somebody today about this, and I said, I think the money has been coming in on Tyson, though. I think Paul was a bigger favorite, and there's been some money coming on Tyson. I could be off on that, but I'm trying to recall how the money has moved. And I think what you've seen is a lot of people from certainly my generation and your generation, because you're an Xer, right? And I'm a millennial, who are betting on nostalgia rather than the reality, which is Mike Tyson was garbage at the end of his career 20 years ago. Like, he was getting beat at the end of his career 20 years ago. And Jake Paul, for all he's a celebrity fighter, he's actually not bad.
He's a little bit taller than Mike Tyson, and he's starting to get meaner looking. Like, I feel like he's making his appearance look mean to take on Tyson.
Yeah, he's 30 years younger. Okay, so let's not underscore. Then people are like, "Oh, George Foreman, this." I remember it's been 30 years ago now. In fact, I think the anniversary, we just came up on the anniversary. I remember as a kid 30 years ago staying up late watching the fight on a scrambled, unpaid for HBO and watching George Foreman knock out Michael Moore at whatever I was, 10 years old or 11 years old or whatever it was. I think it was 10 years old. And thinking, oh, my gosh, this ancient man has defeated the world heavyweight champion. George Foreman is like 5 years older than I am now. And thinking, oh, my gosh, Grandpa just won the heavyweight
champion. Look how old he is, and now you're the same age, and you're like, maybe not so old.
And everybody wants this to be that. Mike Tyson is like 13 or 14 years older than George Foreman was. And Jake Paul's pretty good. We're gonna get into this on the Degenerates Next Door Sports, the betting podcast, the Hammer and I do, which will be out later today. I'm telling people you got to hammer Jake Paul. I mean, the reality is he's younger. He's actively fighting. I don't see any way Jake Paul doesn't win this fight.
Well, are you going to bet on it? Are you going to put money? You are putting money down on it? Okay. I wasn't sure. I don't know. I'm going to go with Jake Paul on this one, I think, because I feel like while Tyson has a really strong glove, and he's got the experience. I just don't know with the past illnesses and the age and Jake Paul's ability to dance around him quickly. Now, Tyson lands one hard blow. It could be a different story, but
he's not going to stand there and let it. He's not going to be like, hit me.
I know, but I just feel like Jake Paul has a lot to gain from this, and he's got youth on his side.
So it's 8 o'clock. I think it's 8 o'clock Friday.
Yeah, that's when it starts.
It's kind of weird they're doing it on a Friday, but it'll give me something to do because you got college football on Saturday. And I think maybe that's why they did that. You got college football all day Saturday. You got NFL on Sunday. And so they said, hey, we'll try to... Your husband is a Tyson guy.
Yeah, well, we used to watch boxing all the time, and then it kind of went into this lull of no exciting boxing matches to watch. But now you got this. So it's going to be on Netflix. So scrambled TV or not, you buy the Netflix, so you're going to be able to see it, right?
And boxing is sort of a forgotten sport now because the most high-profile boxing match of the past several years was that Floyd Mayweather Conor McGregor match, and Conor McGregor isn't even a boxer. And I just think with UFC being so prominent now, I just think if you're a person who seeks violence in sport, UFC's your thing. The sweet science of boxing just doesn't quite enamor you like it once did.
No, we want to be able to use our legs and everything else, right? To get the crowd excited. Okay, so it starts at 8 o'clock. You've got Iron Mike and the Problem Child.
The Problem Child.
Well, that's his nickname, right? So which one's going to come out with the better shorts on?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, and, of course, there's all sorts of things you can bet on this fight. Like, will there be a knockout? How long will the fight go? There's all sorts of things you can... Look, I don't really know anything about boxing. I'm not that into it. I am into this, though, from a purely... I mean, it's a brilliant move by Netflix because this is the thing. Netflix is a content-oriented... subscription service, right? Like they're always pushing these subscription services are always pushing for, hey, let's create this thing that people are going to need to go to only our service to get. And if you think about like Tulsa King or Yellowstone or whatever these kind of big must-see TV shows are now, you get them all at the same time anyway. So it's not like, for the most part, where they drag them out week after week, right? Like they dump them and then you watch them and most of them anyway. Not all of them, but most of them. So the idea of you're saying, well, you're spending all this money for a one-time hit, which is what they're doing. Well, you're kind of doing that with most of these TV shows anyway because people watch them in bulk and then they're done with them.
Now, isn't this kind of like the Kentucky Derby where there's a bunch of fights beforehand?
But I don't know if you get all those. So it's like Paul and Tyson, does it actually start at 8 or am I going to end up...
I don't believe so because they're saying that the full card, which means they got to go through the featherweight, the super lightweight, the super middleweight, the super middleweight, the welterweight, the super lightweight, and then the heavyweight
so it's
fight,
gonna be
which
like
is Tyson and Paul.
It's going to be like midnight.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It starts at 8 o'clock, but you're not going to get to the main event until these 6 or 7 fights are done before then.
So we were talking, the last time I actually watched a boxing match was Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. Remember, that was billed as the biggest fight of all time. I think that was 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was billed as the biggest fight of all time. And I remember paying $25 to get into Kilroy's at Broad Ripple. But the problem was, and this was genius by these bars, because everybody wanted to see this fight. So they were selling tickets to get into the fight. Well, you had to line up to get in. So you're in there like 6 hours before the fight. So you've been drinking for 6 hours.
By the time the fight rolls
you're like,
around,
I'm ready to go to bed.
You don't even care. You don't even care anymore.
So at least now on Netflix, you can just do it at your own leisure from your house. That's a huge, what a huge benefit.
And it could be a late night for you, that's for sure, if you're going to sit through all these other fights. But it's kind of like, the build-up. That's how they have to do it, right?
Yeah, and the crazy thing about that Pacquiao-Mayweather one was because everybody wanted in, you're sitting next to strangers the whole time because it's like, okay, everybody gets in, and if you were lucky enough to get a ticket, and it was like hard to get a ticket. You had to line up to get in, and that fight ended up being a huge stinker, and I think it came out that Pacquiao was injured before the fight, and whatever. Anyway, all right.
I think I'm hoping that there's a knockout, because if you're putting all of this energy and it's going to just go to the judge's card, that's kind of boring, don't you think?
At least I'll be able to text Jim. I know he'll be up late.
Oh, yeah, he'll definitely be up watching it.
I asked my dad because he doesn't have Netflix. I said, do you want to come over and watch this like a father-son bonding?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And what did he say?
He goes, nah, I'm not
No,
interested.
he's not going to stay up that late. He's not going to do it.
No. All right, that's it.
It'll be interesting. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for listening. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577.
Service today?
Today.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Joyner Homes. They've built hundreds of homes across central Indiana and has a streamlined, fully custom home build process with an in-house team of architectural and design specialists. So you can focus on the fun stuff like cabinets and flooring and paint colors. They truly build unique, character-rich, smart design homes anywhere that you can bring a builder or on your own private lot. Check out their pricing online at joynerhomes.com. That's where you can also see some of the homes they've built. That's joynerhomes.com.
Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
It's JMV and Miss M's Home and Gardens fall sale continues. 30 to 50% off all trees and shrubs in stock. State Road 135 south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville.
Hey, don't take your eyes off the road. Just listen. What you hear right now, your customers hear it too. Get your message heard. Text BUSINESS to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up, the iconic race has been run every year since 1975.
Some underground water line upgrades.
So we've seen energy prices and gas prices coming down steadily.
She's getting more comfortable.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
Some tension relieved with an extension. You've got a cloudy sky, 57 degrees on Monument Circle. Radar's cleared up a bit. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. Indianapolis has been the home of the NFL Combine, and it's going to keep staying that way. The NFL announced that the Combine is staying in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium through 2026. That's a one-year extension for the event. The 2024 NFL Combine brought roughly $10 million to the Circle City. Indy's hosted the Combine since 1987. Dallas and Los Angeles have both tried to lure the Combine away from Indianapolis, but those efforts have not worked. At the NFL Combine, college football players perform both physical and mental tests in front of the National Football League coaches, general managers, and scouts in an attempt to make an NFL roster. 5 years ago, Roger Penske bought the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Kurt Darling reports that now he's made another big acquisition.
Penske has bought the Grand Prix Association of Long Beach from Jerry Forsyth. That's the organizing body of the Grand Prix of Long Beach and all the events associated with it. The iconic race has been run every year since 1975 and has been on the IndyCar schedule since 1984. The move by Penske is likely to fend off other racing series like NASCAR or Formula One from making a run at the event. Next year's race will be the 50th anniversary. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You can expect delays at the intersection of Thompson Road and Emerson Avenue on Indy's southeast side today.
That's to prepare the site for some underground water line upgrades that we are making at and near that intersection tonight.
Ben Easley with Citizens Energy Group says this is not a full closure, but since it's a busy intersection, you might want to avoid it. He expects full road restrictions to be done by rush hour tomorrow morning. When you drive your car, you like using the cheapest gas you can get. Even with a recent increase because of a price cycle, Indiana gas is the cheapest it's been since mid-January.
So we've seen energy prices and gas prices coming down steadily, really over the last 2 or 3 years, ever since sort of peak inflation.
IU economist Kyle Anderson tells Wish TV that was in 2022 when gas averaged nearly $5 a gallon throughout the state. Anderson says several factors have played a role in the cheaper gas, but Donald Trump being reelected as president is not one of those factors, at least not yet. Democrats lost major races at every level of government during last week's election. Donnie Burgess reports on the perspective of one Hoosier Democrat in D.C.
I did not come here to add to the pile of takes that are out there. There are plenty of takes.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg believes Democrats should turn their attention to political operations happening on the ground at the local and state levels.
Sometimes Democrats have lamented, right, our federalism, like we kind of would like a little more consistency at the federal level, but a lot of the answers are going to come from mayors, from communities, from states that aren't captive to some wacky ideological project. They're just focused on getting things done.
The former South Bend mayor tells the Harvard Kennedy School Democrats should embrace a healthy look in the mirror if they want to win your vote once again. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Why his sentence is a long one. That story and more next on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, Matt Gaetz nominated by Trump to be the Attorney General. And that's going to be a fight. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Well, Tony, speaking of that, here's a report from Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
Fox News has learned the House Ethics Committee will meet Friday concerning Congressman Matt Gaetz, President-elect Trump's nominee for Attorney General. Gaetz is facing an investigation into allegations that include he, quote, engaged in sexual misconduct and illicit drug use, accepted improper gifts, dispensed special privileges and favors to individuals with whom he had a personal relationship, and sought to obstruct government investigations of his conduct. House Speaker Mike Johnson didn't see the meeting coming.
I was surprised. The Speaker's not involved in what happens in ethics. Lots of important reasons for that. So, yeah, I did. That was news to me.
Ethics Chairman Michael Guest says Gaetz resigning would end the investigation. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Election integrity is still on the mind of Republican National Committee co-chair Lara Trump.
Once we get Donald Trump inaugurated, once, of course, we have our majority in the Senate and the House back in office, I think it could be discussed. Should we have some sort of federal election guidance that makes the American people feel better about their vote?
That's Lara speaking on Fox's Mornings with Maria earlier today. 85 years in prison. That is the sentence for a man found guilty this month for killing his grandmother. Here's Harrison Silcox.
Anthony Castleman was found hiding out in Georgia after he was named a suspect, and a warrant was issued for his arrest over the murder of his grandmother, Bernice Eubank, who was found dead in Markle last year. The Huntington County Sheriff's Office says he was moved back to Indiana after the arrest and was found guilty on the 1st of November. The details of Castleman's sentence include 65 years for the murder of his grandmother, plus another 20 for being a habitual offender Castleman says he didn't do it. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
In pro basketball, the Indiana Pacers lost to the Orlando Magic Wednesday night, 94-90. In women's college basketball, 6th-ranked Notre Dame is now 3-0. They beat James Madison Wednesday night, 92-46. Their head coach, Niall Ivey, says she's impressed with the play of forward Kate Koval.
She had her first career double-double, 6 blocks, just super efficient. I think the physicality of the game, she's getting more comfortable.
Koval's from Ukraine. She had 14 points and 16 rebounds. Notre Dame hits the road to face Lafayette on Saturday. The Butler women took down the IU women at Hinkle Fieldhouse 56-46. I'm John Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard Air dealer in Indianapolis.
Live from the heartland and the crossroads of America, it's Tony Katz Today.
Well, good afternoon, one and all. No, I am not Tony Katz. Today, I'm Andrew Langer in for Tony on Tony Katz Today. You've heard me before, getting to know Logan here on the show. So glad I can join you and you can join me. I've got a motto. When I do radio, I'm going to impart it to all of you. Stand up, speak out, be heard right here on Tony Katz Today. The phone number, if you want to join the conversation, 317-239-9393. You can also message me on Facebook, facebook.com/Andrew Langer Show. That's LANGER. I want to do a shout out to my good friends up in Cass County, where my family is from. I hope you all are having a good time up there. Obviously, Logansport been in the news quite a bit as of late. I actually wound up interviewing some news folks about what's going on up there. Anyway, so we got a great show today. All kinds of stuff going on. Let me tee it up. We got in the next hour, we're going to be joined by Tom Sullivan. He's the VP for Small Business Affairs at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Going to talk about Small Business Saturday. I don't know if you've all have heard about this Costco butter recall. But really, the FDA thinks we're all stupid, and that's what this butter recall is all about. So we're going to talk to Julie Gunlock from the Independent Women's Forum. Going to be joined by Pete Sepp from the National Taxpayers Union in the 2 o'clock hour, or at least 2 o'clock Eastern time hour, third hour of the show. But we got an extra special guest joining us in that third hour of Tony Katz Today. Dara Gottfried, the widow of the late, great Gilbert Gottfried. She's going to be joining us to talk about this double vinyl album that's out. They're issuing it for charity. So you're going to want to obviously stay tuned to all 3 hours of Tony Katz Today. So I want to go here. I like to tee off my shows with things that are funny. We're going to get into the whole Matt Gaetz thing, and I'm sure a lot of you were shocked. I was shocked too, but I have come around. Not that I was never not around, but we're going to play some audio of Matt Gaetz, and we're going to talk about the latest shoe to drop and what's happening with FEMA. But I always like to play things that are fun as we sort of peel back the Biden administration, the Biden years, and the idiotic things that were being said. There's a guy named Mazemore. Mazemore does these incredible sort of supercuts of things. He put together a recent supercut of the idiotic things that Biden administration people have said. Let's go ahead, Logan, and play cut number 1.
Well, I really doubt that we're going to see an inflationary cycle. That's a transitory thing.
Is infrastructure fun? Yeah, absolutely.
Why are conservatives bad, Mommy? Because I thought we were supposed to conserve things.
The border is closed. The border is secure. The border is closed. The border is secure.
United States.
Details on that, Jackie. You're going to have to let me get back to you on that.
Who will be held accountable for this?
Again,
again,
this embarrassment.
again, I take full responsibility.
I listen. So it's by the way, it's landed. As we're taking responsibilities for things. It says it right here in front of me. It says it on the side. I'll mess it up before the day is done, Landon. So thank you very much for that. So those are just some of the idiotic things that were being said in a really great sort of PM magazine music behind it. So the Democrats are engaging in their navel gazing about what happened in the election. And they really have to come to grips with the reality of the situation. Now, I have been saying, and I've been saying since the election last week, we can't overstate what is going on here. And we have to be really clear as to what was going on with the electorate. I have a theory that the electorate is not necessarily moving, shall we say, rightwards, more that they are really focused on common sense. It's something that a number of others have echoed in the wake of what I've been saying, that there is a cognitive dissonance between what the electorate was being told by the Democrats and what they were seeing on the ground, and the Democrats had essentially gone insane over the last couple of years. And as long as we continue to approach policy from a direction of common sense, well, then we're in the clear. But apparently Hakeem Jeffries still doesn't understand what happened last week. Let's go ahead and play cut number 2.
But were you stunned last Tuesday night? I'm just curious. I know lessons learned and all of that, but were you stunned by what happened last week?
Well, we knew going into the election, as Vice President Harris repeatedly stated, including at the convention, this is close, and it's going to be close.
But it wasn't close.
All the way through. I think at the end of the day, the popular vote will be close. I think it was, an electoral college outcome that most people on the Democratic side didn't expect because everything broke at the presidential level in terms of Donald Trump's direction.
Were you late?
Yeah, right. It's gonna be close. Yeah. At least 4 million votes. That's what we're looking at right now. And isn't it interesting? Again, something I haven't brought up with any of you before. Isn't it interesting that folks are not talking about the National Popular Vote Compact anymore? Because they know what would have happened. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if all of the states that had been talking about becoming a part of the National Popular Vote Compact actually did it? We would have been at essentially Donald Trump winning 48 out of 50 states. It's really insane if you go down this road. But, Hakeem Jeffries, that's the question. Are the Democrats going to maintain him? I guess they are, moving forward. When they were not done any services in all of this. Want to set the Wayback Machine here a little bit. Because there's something really interesting. This is actually how I want to start teeing up the nominees that the president has announced and the heads exploding that have ensued by Pete Hegseth getting nominated as Secretary of Defense or announced, Matt Gaetz as Attorney General, Tulsi Gabbard, John Ratcliffe, etc. The fact is that the Democrats were talking about the mandate of the popular vote